Welcome to the TruCrime Cafe. Woo, woo, woo. Come on in. Have a seat. Pour up a cup of truth. Yeah. Names on the corkboard wall, red lines cutting through, cold files on the counter, old lies in the air. Everybody got a story, we just see what's there. Seeking that justice, digging every day. Every little rumor, every word they say. Nothing but nonsense spinning around this town. We break it down, turn it all around. Welcome to the TruCrime Cafe. Come on in, sit down, press play. Pour a hot cup of truth, let it stay. We don't buy that script, they say. We're here pulling threads for you, peeling back layers on what ain't true. Stories being sold, narrative up and down. We flip that tail, put the facts in the ground. Late night, black coffee, eyes on the page. Somebody trying to profit from somebody else's pain. Clickbait, headlines, dancing on the screen. We cut through the chat to get back to what it means. Who wins, who bleeds, who's hiding the stain, who's laughing on the way to the bank off your pain. We chase that truth like a car in the rain. If the trail go cold, we light it up again. Welcome to the TruCrime Cafe. Come on in, sit down, press play. Pour a hot cup of truth, let it say. We don't buy that script, they say. We're here pulling threads for you, peeling back layers on what ain't true. Stories being sold, narrative up and down. We flip that tail, put the facts in the ground. Is it justice? Or just a show? Are they chasing the truth or chasing the glow in this room? We call that bluff, cause people ain't episodes that you binge and forget. Welcome to the TruCrime Cafe. Welcome to the TruCrime Cafe. Welcome to the TruCrime Cafe. Come on in, sit down, press play. Pour a hot cup of truth, let it stay. We don't buy that script, they say. We're here pulling threads for you, peeling back layers on what ain't true. Stories being sold, narrative up and down. We flip that tail, put the facts in the ground. Mr. Hart, yeah, he crawled up out the marsh. Mud on his kicks, but he still talks sharp like shards. Cool little demon, got that smirk, got that spark, flinging his fire at the sky, trying to light up the dark. Calls himself Chef Dizzy, just for kicks, just for fun. Weird little dude, gotta laugh like a stun gun. Pull up and search himself, then his memory done. Wait, what we talking about? Yo, the chaos already begun. Yeah, Mr. Hart, better watch out. He gon' pull up, pop, 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 off, then black out. Looks like trouble, heart like art. Crawl from the marsh just to tear you apart. Yeah, Mr. Hart, when he slapped through, all the misfits yell. That's my dude. Wild in his head, wild in his plans. You can sip that trash can wine, I'll still be your man. Hey, got a bottle from the trash, you can have it if you dare. He just shrugs, takes a swig like, man, life ain't fair. Incel, nah, not him. He got way too much flair. Wanna bet my kitty only if you care. Eyes like he's seen things, laugh like a jump scare. Looks like a demon, but this kind is rare. Crazy ass giggle that go off the stair. He the glitch in the crowd, you can't help but stare. Yeah, Mr. Hart, better watch out. He gon' pull up, pop, 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 then black out. Looks like trouble, heart like art. Crawl from the marsh just to tear you apart. Yeah, Mr. Hart, when he slide through, all the misfits, yeah. one, dude. Wild in his head, wild in his plans. You can sip that trash can wine, I still be your man. Here he comes, on the scene, heavy steps, heavy scheme, pop, pop. Hey. Hey. Sorry, what does he mean? Says there's a cover up, nothing's clean. Late talk, name on the tip, paper so twisted, crooked as shit. Sorry, he's the man, breaking it down so we understand. Educating us all from the screen to the block. Hope he pulls the curtain on the ticking clock. Yeah, bring him down, sorry. Do your thing. Once you light that match, feel the ring. It will happen, ready or not. Late talk going down, oh boy, it's gonna be hot. Bring him down, sorry. Do your thing. Truth cuts deep when the real ones sing. It will happen, ready or not. Late talk going down, oh boy, it's gonna be hot. They call him a theorist, say he's off track, but the lies run thin when the facts push back. Oh no, he's not just dust in the air. He's the crack in the wall, he's the cold hard stare. Whispers in hallways, shaking in suits. He's tracing the money right back to the roots when he drops names. Crowd leans in, whole damn room starts to spin. Whoa, bring him down, sorry. Do your thing. Once you light that match, feel the ring. It will happen, ready or not. Late tower going down, oh boy, it's gonna be hot. Bring him down, sorry. Do your thing. Truth cuts deep when the real ones sing. It will happen, ready or not. Late tower going down, oh boy, it's gonna be hot. Click on the channel, same old script. She reads that page with a plastic twitch. Wild old hair, weird old face. Spilling cheap drama all over the place. Claims that she cares while she plays that role. Eyes fake wet, but her heart so cold. I'm watching that show like this ain't right. Feeding that fear every single night. Nothing good here, it's nasty disgrace. Every last word, a slap in the face. Spreading untruth, telling all lies. Even got to know how to fake a little cry. Nothing good here, it's nasty disgrace. Everything she does, all for the chase. Thinks that she great, front and center in the frame. Makes it all about her, every darn case. Every darn case. Every darn case. I think she the creep from that horror show. Same cold laugh, same cheap glow. Teleprompter puppet on that glassy stage. Twisting those facts for a click in the wage. Says breaking story, but it's broken trust. Turn real pain into glitter and dust. I change the channel, but it's still that face. Everywhere I look, same nasty disgrace. Nothing good here, it's nasty disgrace. Every last word, a slap in the face. Spreading untruth, telling all lies. Even got to know how to fake a little cry. Nothing good here, it's nasty disgrace. Everything she does, all for the chase. Thinks that she great, front and center in the frame. Makes it all about her, every darn case. 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 Every darn. Click.
Alrighty then. Welcome back to the cafe, guys. We are open for business. It's great to see you all. I hope you're all having a great day. It's a hot one. It's getting warm out there. Summertime is coming right around the corner, and I'll be complaining because everybody knows I hate summertime. But hey, it's better than snow. It's better than rain. It is what it is. Anyway, welcome back, everybody, guys. We are going to be jumping into the Christopher Whitcomb interview that we did the other night and breaking it down from the beginning to the end, discussing things as much as we can throughout that. I'm going to finish up the, I think it's Kyle Frei interview as well. I said we were going to do that today, and we will jump into this. I know there's a lot of questions with what Chris has said during his interview. So on and so forth. So we will discuss those things, what our thoughts are on them. And again, there's going to be people that disagree. There's going to be people that agree. There's people that are going to like it, and people that are going to hate it. And that's why we do what we do. It is what it is, guys. So that's what the fun is about having these conversations, discussions. They're always great. I'm grateful for them. So thank you to all of you for joining us. Please make sure to hit that like button on your way through the door. Share this out. Let everybody know what we're doing in here today. Make sure you grab your cup. You fill it up. Find a seat. And let's do this thing.
Neon lights flicker like broken halos. Whispers gather in the smoke-filled air. Tables carved with secrets and shadows. Every story's a wound laid bare. The kettle's boiling with a restless rage. Justice written on an unseen page. I sip the silence, bitter taste, waiting for the ghosts to show their face. At the TruCrime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betrayed. Mirrors cracked, reflections are liars. Ashes fall where the guilty once stood. The jukebox hums like a funeral choir. Echoes pounding through the neighborhood. Every scar is a candlelit vow. We hunt the how, we demand the now. No more silence, no more disguise. We'll paint the night with sharpened cry. At the TruCrime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betray. This is not a sermon, it's a battlefield hymn, a requiem dripping from the bottle's rim. The guilty write stories in invisible ink, but we'll drag it all up from the edge of the brave. At the TruCrime Cafe, the reckoning burns like a black bouquet. Every shadow will pay in the truth.
Right. Welcome back, guys. Great to see you. Happy Thursday. It is great to be back with you guys today. Today, guys, we are going to be reviewing and breaking down the Christopher Wickham interview that we did the other day and discussing it beginning to end. I have people have questions, comments, theories, opinions, whatever it is. That's what we're doing. So I hope you're here for it. Great to see you all. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to the moderators that are here. I appreciate each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to be here with us today. Much appreciated. Nothing but love to all you. Thank you again to the videographer Molly, and of course my production manager Mikey for all he does and makes all the things that he does happen. Guys, make sure. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Make sure you tune in this Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for the Verdict Room Unfiltered. Another great show with myself, Logan from Bronx Tales True Crime. Of course, Mike, our production manager here with the last 24, and Kim with Typically Unique, guys. We have a great show coming your way with a Mr. Jeffrey Gentry. He's a pathologist, crime scene specialist, and expert that we're going to be discussing a bunch of different things, especially now that we have this information that we heard on that. It's going to be a great conversation. I'm super duper looking forward to that one. I cannot wait. So please make sure you have the time slot cut out, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, Mr. Jeffrey Gentry is joining us tonight, or that night, I'm sorry. I cannot wait for this one. So be here, be there, or be square. Well, yeah, I guess that's how you say it. I'm a cornball, sorry. It's going to be great either way. Can't wait. And tonight, guys, today we're going to be having a full breakdown of the Chris Whitcomb interview. Chris is the author of the new book, Broken Plea, about the Idaho 4 situation, in case nobody knows about it. So, yay, yay. Come on in, grab a seat, grab your cup, fill it up, take a seat, get off your feet, whatever you got to do. Come on in. Welcome, welcome. Let's see who we got in here today. It looks like Sausage Biscuits joining us. Wonderful to see you, dear. Miss Christina, welcome back to you. Nana Cow, welcome as always. Great to see you. Realize, Analyze. Love your name. Very cool. Thank you for joining us. Beach Babes in the house. Thank you for that, by the way. Miss Rowe, always happy to see you, Ms. Rowe. And thank you again. Anybody that chooses to support us via our Amazon wish list, it is so very much appreciated. I promise you. Never, ever, ever expected, but always, always appreciated. It keeps me going, keeps us going day after day. So thank you. Sassy Cassie's in the house. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Wanda Woman, good to see you today. Molly Drake's in the house. There's our videographer. Speak of it. Great to see you, Molly. Altruistic Murder, welcome back to you. Let's see here. Randy Furr, my brother from another mother. Good to see you, sir. Bri guys in the house. Brian's ramblings. Great to see you, brother. Good to have you here. Always love seeing Brian. Let me see here. Mama Five, welcome, Mama Five. Great to see you. Meanie's in the house. Welcome back to you, Miss Teresa. Great to see you. Thank you, Beach Babe, for that as well. Again, never ever expected, but always appreciated, guys. With all the names that I've been pulling from this book, so on and so forth, that are unredacted, anything that is donated towards these links until I can set something else up better, whether it's Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo, I'm going to be using for records request FOIAs or whatever you want to call them. They're not cheap. They like to extort us over there, so we got to pay for this stuff. So what we can get together, it is so very much appreciated. Thank you. For Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan, welcome to you. Good to see you. Jesse Lynn, welcome back to you. Sleuthy Kitty, Meow Meow, great to have you here. Aquamarine, welcome back to you. Miss Leah Story, welcome. Great to see you today. Lisa Winchester, welcome. Always happy to have you here. And Wendy, welcome to you. Sluther75 dancing around in the background. Great to see you, dear. Thank you for joining us. Eddie's in the house. One made nut. What's up, brother? Maybe he'll join me and discuss some things. Who knows? And Mikey, speaking of, good to see you, brother. Thank you for being here. The last 24. Let me see. Thank you, Ms. Rowe, for that one. going on here? Pretty much Finland. Welcome back. Great to see you today. Trying to catch everybody here. Mandy Gillian, welcome to you. Great to see you as always. Oh, Brian already starting off our goal for today. Thank you, sir. What is going on? What do we got going on, Brian? What's the problem? Let me help you if I can. Miss Information, love your name. Welcome to you. Death Valley Tiger, great to see you today. Um, hmm. Miss Cat K, great to see you. Inady, welcome back to you as always. Right Turn Clyde, great to see you. Well, Riz Fizz, welcome to you. Miss Margaret, great to see you. Don Caps, welcome back. Becky Sterling, welcome. Ashley Love, always happy to see you. Thank you for joining us. Mary G. Coleman, welcome to you. Jen Simmons in the house. Great to see you, Miss Jen. Thank you for being here. New Mexico 444. Great to see you. Oh boy, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. Live a life to the fullest. My wife is making her special chicken salad, so we can have chicken salad sandwiches for. I love it, guys. I can't wait. Lily Moon 92. Good to see you today. Firestar 77. Christine Hurd, always happy to see you. Firebox 133, welcome to you. So much corruption. Congratulations. Happy Digoverse around 5 months. Appreciate you very much. Wonderful to have you in our family. We appreciate you so much for that. Lizzie Turtle Balls, welcome back. Lisa and Cannoli, good to see you and Cannoli again. It's been a while. Hope Cannoli's doing well. Beautifully Broken Woman, welcome to you. Miss Krista Marie, welcome. Reality with Krista Marie, great to see you. Moto Man. Moonlit Baby, great to see you. Let's see here. I think I got everybody that time. Maybe. Noni McPoppins. I knew I missed somebody. Good to see you, Miss Noni. Motoman, you as well, brother. Altruistic Murder. I think I've gathered. Nope. Cinderella Ella. Good to see you. Thank you, dear. Appreciate that very much. Hemi's in the house. What's up, Hemi? Beverly Fight. Good to see you. Beautifully Broken Woman. I said that. Hello. And the bomb toy just pops in. Hello. Robert, good to see you with True Crime Unleashed. Wade Bird, welcome back to you, Miss Christine. Itty bitty poof. Itty bitty poof. Good to see ya. Jessica Lynn, I think it is. Welcome. Good to see ya. See a lot of white names in here. We got to turn them green. Cheryl Mims, wonderful to see you, dear. So, guys, make sure down in the bottom of your chat, there's a little square box with a $sign in it inside a circle. Click on that. Make sure you can receive gifts, please. And if you can, we have a lot of very generous people, and I do like to throw them out at times too. That like the gift memberships. If you want to become a meatball, jump in the roast sauce with the rest of us, so you can help us build that sauce day after day. Please do if you can. That way you can receive these memberships. Speaking of, once again, Mr. Generosity, Motoman just dropped 20 memberships, so make sure you can receive them, guys. Hell yeah. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you so very much. I'm doing all right, Cheryl. Thank you for noticing. Let's see here. Thank you so much, bro. It looks like Realize, Analyze. Welcome to the sauce. Jessica Lynn. Ryan's Ramblings. Cinderella Ella. True Crime Unleashed. Sun Bunny. Penny Monroe, Erica B, Shaggy, 357, was-a me. Norma 8992, Miss Christine S19. It's a done deal. 7. Good to see that. I love that. Sabrina Bear, Bright Light, Leanne White. Oh, where'd they go? Hold on, I lost them. Suzanne, Music Love Tara, Tab 22, Tamara from New York. All of you, welcome to the sauce. Welcome to the family. We appreciate you so very much, and God bless, Moto. You're amazing, brother. I appreciate you very much for that. No lie. And also, it looks like right after that, I believe my sister from another Miss Krista, dropped another one, and that one went to Miss Wendy. So congrats. We just received 21 new meatballs rolled up and dropped in that sauce within a matter of 5 minutes, guys, not even. So congrats to all of you. Welcome to the family. We appreciate it very much. And again, Moto Man and Krista, God bless. I love you guys, and I appreciate you very much. Very much. All right. Summer Jaden, welcome. Good to see you. Ms. Lucy's in the house. You got some splaining to do. Just kidding. Not right now, you don't. Good to see you, Miss Lucy. Thank you for joining us, dear. Joanne, welcome. Good to see you. Don't work too hard. Yes, congrats to all our new members. I appreciate that so very much. Wonderful to have so many new meatballs jumping in with us. It's awesome. So much corruption. Thank you so much for that. Dropping 5 more, guys. That gives us 26 new meatballs. And it looks like... wait a minute. Where'd it go? There it is. Right there. It looks like Sweet Toughness, Gentrex, Heather Cameron, my screaming name, and Wisteria all receive new memberships to the cafe. Welcome, welcome. Make sure you bring your cup so we can fill it up when you come through that door. Very awesome. Thank you so much. Corruption, you're amazing. God bless all of you guys today. You're killing me with this already. We haven't even gotten into the show. You guys are amazing. This is why I love this community. So very much appreciated. You people are awesome. Sweet Melissa, welcome to you. Welcome. And again, guys, we're real quick because I haven't had too many shows since. Please welcome Beach Babe to the Blue Crew, the family. She is now part of the crew. So please, as always, respect her as you do all moderators and welcome her with open arms as we do for everybody. Please and thank you to the fam. So again, welcome Beach Babe. It's wonderful to have you on the crew and in the family, even deeper. We appreciate ya. So what are the notions of the new book? It's basically pointing out all of the mass corruption in the background, Brian, is what they're pointing at per se. And he's giving us resources and tools to look into more of what we have already come to find out, sir. And that's pretty much what it is. Love Another Habits. Great to see you. Good to see ya. And yes, I'm going to ask that nicely if we can. We're reviewing the interview. So if you can help yourself, please. No big spoilers about the book for people that have not read it yet. I've read the whole thing. There are some people that have read it, but please let's try not to do that, only because it's really going to upset some people that haven't read it. So I know you guys can handle that. Other than the stuff that we have within, the interview stuff we're going to break down. So yes, try to do that, guys, if possible. Okay. Gail, G74, great to see ya. Thank you for joining us. Miss Kathleen Bell, welcome back. Great to see you today. Yes, Brian, basically what you've been saying for 5 years, even though this case is only 3.5 years old. But yes, whatever you've been saying for 5 years, it's what it is, buddy. You'll be happy to know, Brian, that I personally have started to follow the theory that you put out, as you say, 5 years ago. In essence, my friend, I love you, bra guy. Wholeheartedly, you know that. Sandra Kyoshi. Well, some people don't like the spoilers because they want to be able to read it. And I fully do truly understand that. Some people want to know, some people don't want to know. Everybody's different. But if you can help it, anything real big, try not to throw it out there until somebody gets it. That's all I'm saying. It feels like 10, Brian. What are you talking about? It feels like this has been going on for 10 plus years, buddy. Truly, it does. I don't think it's ever going to end. Ever. Come on in, everybody. Grab a seat. Get comfortable. Brian is from the Minority Report. Yes, he does. Brian knew. Brian knew the first week he started talking about it. So I understand, Kathleen. I do understand. I know, Jan. I know. It's all good. Only 7%. We'll run a poll. But we still, let's see. I'll run a poll real quick. All right, all right. Let me run this up here. Who wants spoilers from the book? I'm not asking you guys to do it just because. Just to see how many people. I'm curious myself. Either you do, you don't, or you don't care either way. That's the answer. So go ahead and vote on it, guys. I am going to, after everybody gets the book and reads it, I am going to, we've reached out to Chris already to have him join us here over on this show. I'm going to give everybody time to read through it a week or two and see if he let it calm down a little bit because he's been crazy busy, but I'm going to try to have him join us here. And as we had talked about when had talked to him over at DA, so on and so forth, he seemed pretty into it. So yes, Moonlit Baby, great to see ya. Ghost Gulf Coast Bum, welcome. You got it, Brian. You got it. Rubik's Cube, love your name. Welcome. You're wanting the spoils. Make sure you vote on that one. Vote on it. For those of you guys that like polls. Are you broken pleat out? I bet. There's a lot of them out there. A lot of interviews thus far. Deb's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Yes, it has been a rough ride. You're trying to get someone to read it to you. Jeez, Molly. What, are you going to kick your feet up and relax, let somebody read it to you? Come on now. Little Molly spoiled, but maybe hints. You guys are killing me. I love it. Looks like we got 194 people in the house as of right now with 101 likes. You guys broke that algorithm already. Thank you. Keep hitting that like button. Share this out if you will, please, and thank you. And yes, guys, stay tuned. We got a great weekend coming up. Saturday night, we are having Jeffrey Gentry join us, crime scene expert, to break down probably a lot of this stuff and some other things that we have questions about. And then Sunday, myself, 1-1, and a Miss Robin with the Crimes After Dark crew over at Devil's Advocates are going to be starting off a new case. You all know we just finished up the John Benet Ramsey case. We're going to be jumping into, wait for it, the Black Dahlia, guys. How about that one? Very mysterious, crazy case. I cannot wait for that one. That case has always floored me. Very interesting case. So, I hope you're down for this weekend. Plenty to do Saturday night here at the Verdict Room Unfiltered with myself, Ms. Logan from Bronx Tales, Typically Unique, and Miss Kim, the last 24 with Mikey, myself, and Mr. Jeffrey Gentry. again, a crime scene expert specialist with pathology, all sorts of things. The man's very good. I do believe he's been on Birdie's show once or twice. So we're going to be doing that. And then the Black Dahlia, we start off Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a blast, guys. I'm looking forward. I love the Black Dahlia story. I've always been floored by that one and mesmerized. So I can't wait for that. 1-1 in the house. Good to see you, buddy. The guy that never sleeps. Captain 1-1 himself. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're not working too hard. Yes, Jeffrey Gentry's awesome, you guys. Awesome. Angie B. What it be? 1-1. All right. It is great to see you all tonight. Canadian girl, welcome to you. Thank you, brother. Always appreciate you. Always appreciate you. Let's check this poll real quick. Who wants spoilers from the book? For those of you that have read it, that we said no spoilers, guys. I'm just curious to see who does want to hear those ones. I got 63% said they do want to hear them. 12 said no, and 26 said I don't give a damn either way. So, thank you guys for that one. But I will still ask, for those of you that have read the book, let's try to, not give some big spoilers out to those that don't want them. They want to be able to read through it. And I get some people got the book early, some people don't get it until. So either way, let's try not to do that to ruin it for them. That's all. Altruistic murder. Good to see you. Yeah, it is basically the Black Dahlia case is basically still unsolved. There was never a real deal, true to form answer to what happened with that one. So realize, analyze that I ain't got time for the book. Spoil me. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too, Don. That's gonna be awesome. That is gonna be awesome. I'm super excited. 1-1 and Robin got put that answer together past 24, 48 hours or so ago. And I'm just like, I didn't even know that was an option. I'm excited for that. I cannot wait. I actually have some stuff on that. I covered that in my Midnight series about 4 years ago. Was when I was covering true crime stories that were turned into, what the hell was it? True crime movies that were based off of true crime, true stories. That's what it was. Sorry. And that was one of the ones I covered because I've always been mesmerized by it. So I can't wait. I'm going to tell you right now, for anybody that says they don't want to read the broken plea, yes, if you followed this case at all, yes, you do. Thank you, Ro. Very much appreciated. Again, never expected. For anybody that chooses to support us, whether it's tipping or whatever you want to call it, anything that we add via Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App as of right now, until I get a better system set up, are going towards records requests and FOIAs. That's exactly what we're going to be doing with it. So anybody that wants to support us, trying to FOIA some of this stuff that we've learned recently, new names and all that, that's how we do it, folks, because they're not cheap. They like to extort us over there. So please help us out if you feel like it. Thank you, Sluther, for that. And again, don't forget the link there to the True Crime shop, where you can pick up your merchandise if you want. Pick up a T-shirt that says You can get a Baby Dago T-shirt to wear. You can get the logo shirt. Plenty of things over there. Miss Cassie's been hammering away at stuff over there, so go check it out if you will. Thank you, Sluther. Miss Deb said this question may sound grim, but the G said Kaylee had her teeth knocked out. Were any recovered from the scene? It's not really that bad of a question. I've asked that myself, so I get it, Debs. It's a good question. I'm curious myself. I truly am. What did happen to her teeth if they were not crime scene? Well, I would imagine they probably would have been found within her stomach contents, typically, if they're not anywhere laying near, I would think. you know. Thank you, Miss Rowe. We appreciate that. Looks like we got 219 people, 121 likes. You guys are killing it today. I love it. Thank you. Jeez, Molly. I think there is an audio you can get that'll read it to you online. I think. And if not, you can set it up to where you get the. I think you can set it up. SRB was talking about that once. I think it's. What is going on with this? What happened here? Can you guys hear me? There we go. I don't know what happened. I think you can set it up to if you buy the Kindle version of it or whatever, you can have it. There's a setting in the computer. If you do it on your computer, well, it'll read it to you. So there's something like that that exists, Molly. All right. Okay. Now, yeah, Mikey said his phone has that feature too. Audiobook is 14 on Kindle, and then there is a setting that you can either install. Hey, Stitch, is good to see you, and you can have it read to you too. So it's pretty awesome. Is it in Matthew McConaughey's voice? Wow, you guys are killing me. I'm sure you could do it. I'm sure you could do it. So whose voice does it have to be, Miss Molly? You want me to read it to you, Molly? I'll charge you 25 cents a word. Does that work? I'm just kidding. You know I would never do that. All right. Let's see here. All right. We're going to finish up the rest of the Kyle Frei interview, and then we're going to move into this book breakdown. I'm going to drop the link, pin it at the top, so anybody who wants to join me and discuss these things can do it. One says he wants it in Bill Thompson voice. JP said Ed Kemper. Jesus, you guys are killing me today. Killing me today, folks. Too funny. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Cool. It stopped it right where I left off, too. I love that. Hold up. Wait a minute. All right. Niles Buckman, good to see you. These are new ones, Niles. These are gonna be new FOIA requests. I don't know if they'll answer or not. I hope they do. These are for new things, so hopefully they will. They've answered some other people. I'm gonna try to follow another type of FOIA that I'm gonna write, and maybe it'll be more appealing to them. I don't know, but these are for new things I've never FOIA'd before. I'm gonna try it. We'll see what happens. Oh, I figured that's what you were gonna say. I had two answered. They were denied, but it is what it is. All right. Off where we left off with Kyle Frei. Let's see what we got going on. This should be pretty quick, I hope. I hope.
How about other girls? Has he, besides Xana, was he involved?
Oh, I forgot the closed caption. This is where we left off yesterday, you guys. All right.
Involved with any other girls up here?
Involved as in
romantically involved, pursuing other girls, stealing somebody's girlfriend.
No. Ethan and Xana were like end game, like just perfect. I would always ask him when he'd be playing video games, how are you and Zan doing? And it was always, just great. And every time I saw them together, they were great. Everyone else would say the same thing. They were just, I don't know, they weren't, polar opposites. And I know people say opposites attract, but, they were, so much the same person, and it just worked for them. Neither of them got upset. Neither of them got mad. They never fought over stupid things that I was told anyways. Because every time I asked Ethan, he was like, yeah, we're great.
His name again is Kyle. I think it's pronounced Frei. It might be Frei. The interview was done December 1st of 2022. He's listed as Ethan's best friend, which we've been told that about 3 or 4 other people. So, Mountain One Momo, good to see you. On we go. As Jesse, moving on. It's being redacted right now. Good Lord, with these redactions. This is ridiculous.
Betting and the main purchases that Ethan...
No, this is no relation to Cheap Fry. It's spelled F-R-E-I. So no, different spelling all the way around.
...was having were Taco Bell. I'm pretty sure there's still a Taco Bell wrapper over there. But eating out, Qdoba, Chipotle when they go over the phone.
Is the bag over here?
The bag?
The Taco Bell bag you were talking about?
I think it's not. I think it's just a Taco Bell wrapper right there.
I was looking for a bag with a receipt in it so we can see how he paid. Okay. Okay, how about drugs? Did he use any drugs besides alcohol?
I think he definitely would use Adderall as just kind of a way to help sober him up. But
what was his source of Adderall?
He would always say
every damn interview is exactly the same.
he got it from Xana, and I think, because, I don't know, personally I've never done Adderall. So I don't know who the dealers, so to say, are, but I know a lot of times he'd be like, Xana got me an Adderall. We'd be over there partying, day drinking, or whatever, and he'd be like, oh, I'm about to take this Adderall, 10 milligrams or whatever. But I would say he had talked about cocaine, but I think that was something he tried last year, and then he said he hated it, because I was with Zan and Ethan earlier this year, and we were talking about it, and they were both just it's just overrated. But I think besides alcohol, it was just Adderall, and then obviously nicotine. But
did he smoke or chew or vape or what?
Vape. And then
the cocaine use last year, was that just a one-time thing?
I think it was just a one-time. he was never I didn't even know about it last year until he told me. But and then also he did smoke marijuana occasionally, but I would not call him a marijuana user. He wasn't someone that had a reputation of smoking.
Will smoking marijuana here at the house get you kicked out?
Will it? Yes. We had an incident last year with a member that we had a party and they smoked in one of our apartments, and we dropped him. We gave him a Form 51.
When I was the proconsul here, we did the same thing with 3 members that had they bought a bag of marijuana in this apartment up here. One of the guys brought it to us.
Yeah. So now our board we'll go do we'll do random checks. Proconsul and consul will go around and do checks, and it's not weed as much as DAP pens that they're looking for. You know,
That doesn't exist back then.
so he's
Dab pens, okay. Vaped.
What the hell is the difference? Dab pens is weed, isn't it? At least I thought it was. That doesn't make any sense. Yes, he did, Jesse. At least that's what I heard. You need me to back it up so we can hear it again? Yeah, he is talking a lot, isn't he, love? Let me back that up one more time. Let's hear that again.
I would not call him like a marijuana user. Like he wasn't.
Dab pens, from my understanding, Angie, it's isn't it just like a weed vape pen thing or something? I thought maybe that's why we're confused. But yeah.
Someone that like had a reputation of smoking.
Well, smoking marijuana here. Did he smoke or chew or vape or what?
Vape. And then
the cocaine use last year, was that just a one-time thing?
I think it was just a one-time. Like he was never like I didn't even know about it last year until he told me. But and then also he did smoke marijuana occasionally, but I would not call him like a marijuana user. Like he wasn't someone that like had a reputation of smoking.
Will smoking marijuana here at the house get you kicked out?
Will it? Yes. We had an incident last year with a member that we had a party and they smoked in one of our apartments and we dropped him. We gave him a Form 51.
When I was the proconsul here, we did the same thing with 3 members that had they bought a.
And here is my problem with this. This man shouldn't be having these sideways conversations with him about when he was in the fraternity. It's too much of a conflict of interest for me. I'm very uncomfortable with it. I'll just say that.
Bag of marijuana in this apartment up here. One of the guys brought it to us. And
yeah, so now our board, like, we'll do random checks. Proconsul and consul will go around and do checks, and it's not weed as much as dab pens that they're looking for. That
doesn't exist back then.
So he's
dab pens, okay. Vaped. So you got to be 21 to buy vapes now, right? So Who was the source of vape pens?
Well, Ethan never really bought his own vape. He would more so be like he'd be in here sitting in that chair playing video games. Like, all right, I'm gonna go steal a freshman's vape. Like while his game was loaded. But he did have them occasionally, and he always just would like, Zena has a vape, and then he would accept.
This dude talks a lot more than most of them do. What's up, Moto? How you doing today, brother?
Not too bad, Diego. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, anytime.
Make sure you, if you want me to back up, hit anything, if you want to talk about something in particular, stop me and I'll do it, okay?
Yeah, will do.
All right, buddy. Great to have you here again today. All right. Moving forward, Miss Jessie.
So a bit of a mooch.
With vapes, anyways. He was not afraid to be like, and freshmen just throw vapes at you because, it's a good way to get in with them, I guess.
Okay, what about past relationships? Did you ever talk about past relationships and maybe he had ended for some reason, either with girls or with guys?
Occasionally we would talk about like old girlfriends and stuff, but it's not something that would be like, she had a sketchy family or whatever. Like, they're always nice girls, because I'm pretty sure he had a pretty serious relationship in high school. But, that was in high school, and him and Xana were doing so well. So we never really focused on, like, old relationships, I guess.
Sometimes new boyfriends get jealous of old relationships, if that makes sense. Like, if he had a serious relationship with someone in high school and he was, like, their first love, and then that's gone, and he's moved on to Xana, and then that girl starts dating somebody else, and his relationship with her becomes a thing in their relationship, then the new boyfriend can become resentful of that and think that they want to target somebody that's happened before. So do you have a name of the person you dated in high school?
I don't. I could ask and call you, but not off the top of my head.
We'll just make note of it, and that's something we need to readdress. We will. Did he have any medical issues you're aware of?
Not that I was aware of, no.
Are you aware of anybody that was really into Zana?
No, and that's kind of a hard question because everyone loves Zana.
Right. Can I call you back in the middle of an interview?
But I'm talking more of a romantic piece.
Yeah. No, I can't think of anyone. I guess my point is everyone was just so close with Zana and stuff, with the hugging and everything that nothing ever stood out that was in an intimate way, and Ethan never had any suspicions or anything like that.
Had Ethan and Zana been together essentially from the time y'all pledged, or was
no? So earlier I think they were going on 10 months. It was either 7 or 10 months. I'm pretty sure they started dating second semester. She littled Ethan. Which I don't know. It's in Greek life. When I join the house, I get a big, and they're just kind of my mentor. But when I'm a sophomore, I'm able to little, say, girls. So if there's a theta or a kappa, I could be and I really get along with her. I could be oh, I'm going to little you because you're dope. You can be in my Greek fam, and then Greek fams will make a group chat, have fam nights. I have one next week, and we'll kind of hang out and just talk, party.
I don't believe we did, Wanda. I'll just be honest with you. I don't trust anything that came from the autopsy or toxicology straight out of the gate. That's just fact. So
Zana really liked Ethan last year just as a person, and then first semester she littled him. So then Ethan was Xana's little, and then they kind of started, hanging out a lot and dating. When they started, there was 10 nights where they slept in the same bed and cuddled, and everyone kind of gave them a hard time because when you little someone and someone's your big, it's kind of Greek family, so there's kind of the whole incest joke, I guess. So people were kind of giving them a hard time about it, and then they started dating from that. Right. So she was just spending more time over here, and then they slowly just kind of realized that they had feelings for each other, I think, and then they got together.
And you're not aware of anyone prior to Ethan that Zana had a relationship with, or somebody that was really into Zana?
No, well, not a relationship. I knew of people that had hooked up with her the year prior and stuff. I'm pretty sure kind of had a thing with Zana for a while, but not in a. It was never oh my gosh, getting upset about it or anything. But
that's the same that you said that Ethan would go.
Peter, yeah, Peter was one of Ethan's closer friends in the house too. He watched a lot of football.
a lot of people are asking this question. What did Erica mean about Xana cheating? Was it a ploy? I feel like it might be. Okay. I feel like it's somebody trying to get the piece, piss Ethan off or maybe get between them. That's just my opinion. I have no idea. I've been looking around. I can't find a true to form person that fits this Erica name either. So I don't even think it was a real name. That's another problem. So just saying.
They all kind of were a big group.
That whole thing you're describing about having a little that's a girl in another house and having a Greek family, that's all new.
Really?
Oh yeah, none of that was.
Did you guys, as far as the same house, did you have a big or anything like that?
I had a big brother.
Oh.
Yeah,
but you weren't able to
not somebody from outside.
Oh.
No, the only person from outside that had anything to do with us was a sweetheart.
Huh?
But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I guess Dana and Pete had dated before Ethan for a period of time. So yeah, we found that out a while back.
We usually pair up with another house for derby days, but that was about it.
All right, I stopped. What's up, altruistic? Can we back that up? Yes, of course, of course. That's why we're doing it. Let me know if I got far enough.
Relationship, like, I knew of people that, like, had hooked up with her the year prior and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure kind of had a thing with Xana for a while, but not in like a, like, it was never like, oh my gosh, like, getting upset about it or anything. But
That's the same that you said.
I don't believe we have found the Pete interview as of yet. So, not like this, at least. It hasn't come out yet. So, yeah, it's Pete. And it was known that they had dated beforehand. So, yeah. Which was a little weird, but hey, you know, I've seen stranger things. Danielle Tuds, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you.
Said that Ethan would go to
Peter, yeah, Peter was one of Ethan's closer friends in the house too. Like, he watched a lot of football in there, and they all kind of were a big group.
I'm going to let this run for just a minute, guys. I'll be right back. Got to run to the little boys' room.
That whole thing you're describing about having a little that's a girl in another house and having a Greek family, that's all new.
Really?
Oh yeah, none of that was.
Did you guys, as far as the same house, did you have a big or anything like that?
I had a big brother.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you weren't able to, like, little...
Like, not somebody from outside.
Oh.
No, the only person from outside that had anything to do with us was a sweetheart.
Huh? But,
yeah. Anyway. We usually pair up with another house for derby days, but that was about it. Okay. So, we've heard that there were issues with some delts with some people associated with that house and with, like, Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, Jack, who's a beta who lived over here with a bunch of betas in the corner house.
okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with that.
A little bit, the beta and delt beef, yeah.
So there's been allegations regarding, and not major stuff, but like the delts providing drugs and the delts hitting on girls that had boyfriends, and that's getting in fights with a beta, all that sort of thing. Were there any delts that were going to and from the house where Xana was that Ethan ever talked about? That were like, these guys are a problem, or this guy's a problem, or we had to kick some guy out, or?
There was one kid, his name is, but people call him Dr- but he was that was more of like, he would get drunk and act like an idiot. There was an incident, and I don't recall exactly what it was about, but Dritch, like, he shoved an AFI. I want to say she's an AFI, freshman this year. She's like, and like, he was blacked out and like pushed her over, and Ethan used to love him. Like, he would come over, you know, because a lot of the delts hung out there at Xana's all the time. But I remember one time Ethan being like, oh yeah, and I was like, oh why? And he's like, because he shoved a girl, he's like, I'm not associating myself with him anymore.
So who's?
I could point him out to you, but
You said his name's Ethan,
I believe his name is,
and is he adult?
he is adult, yes.
Sounded like he was going to say Ethan. Like another Ethan. I'm going to play that one more time, but that's what it sounds like.
It's like, oh why? And he's like, because he shoved a girl, he's like, I'm not associating myself with him anymore.
So who's?
I could point him out to you, but
You said his name's Ethan,
I believe his name is,
and is he adult?
You said his name's Eat. That's where it stopped. So it could be Eric Johnson. Welcome.
Adult?
He is adult, yes.
Hey, get that zipper fixed.
What's the game of choice?
Game of choice?
Yeah.
On
Let's see the
Oh, Xbox. This is all Ethan stuff. I mean, I have an Xbox, but I like a hunting game. It's called Hunter Call of the Wild. It's like a fake world like GTA, but it's like with hunting. Like the wind direction, they can, like smell you, things like that. But I don't play a whole lot. Yeah, people call him, so that would probably be him. And he was a nice kid. He was just kind of like, I don't know.
Got drunk?
Yeah, I got too drunk, and after that happened, Ethan just didn't tolerate when people disrespected like girls, and he wasn't like I said, mean about it or everything. He would just be like, "You need to leave." But there were never really too many nights like that where there was like altercations at CNS or anything.
Go ahead.
What's your knowledge of Maddie and Caleb?
So I obviously hung out a lot over there because me and Ethan were so close, and I got close to Xana through Ethan. Maddie I just knew her as a pie, another pie, and I'd go over there, but I didn't really talk to her too much.
I think that's true, Camshaft. Welcome, by the way. I do. I think one of them was an Ethan. Good catch.
And then Kaylee just had a dog, so I would talk to Kaylee about her dog, because she had a dog over there for a while. Both really sweet girls. Kaylee spent a lot of time upstairs when we partied. And then I remember like one night she came down upset because the cops had been called and they had gotten like a noise complaint. And then they said if they had to come back, then they were going to fine the house, $600 or do whatever. And then they had to come back because, we were playing music and everything. But besides that, Kaylee really just spent a lot of time upstairs. But Maddie would be around at parties quite a bit with like Bethany.
Was upstairs off limits to people that were there for a party?
I mean, they never really said it was off limits, but like no one went up there. Okay. Like we would be like right in the main living room area, and then people would chill in the kitchen. And then when it was still warm, we'd play like Pong outside and stuff.
Did the majority of people, or most people that attended these parties, did they know that Kaylee's bedroom was upstairs?
Maybe. Like, I only really knew her bedroom was upstairs because, like, a lot of times we just have, like, kickbacks over there to where we just throw music on, everyone sit on the couch. It wasn't as much of a party. It's just, like, kind of all hanging out, talking. And, like, Kaylee would come down from upstairs. So I'm just like, oh, Kaylee must live upstairs.
So when you went there for that, who were the people that were there?
When I would go over there just for...
to hang out?
It was usually... I almost always saw... And then Xana... and the lawn.
Now, that's kind of interesting to me. It's a bit strange, but interesting that when they were party, according to him, he said when there were parties, Kaylee didn't really interact. She would stay upstairs in her room, which is interesting. I don't know if that's the first time I've heard that. I'll just say that. So, very weird.
And her boyfriend were there quite a bit. Obviously Xana, and then a lot of thetas would come over. Like, I always felt like, I don't know if I'd be able to really give you too many names, but it was mainly them on nights like that. Maybe would come over with her friend. There's one other theta that was close, but that was usually like the group that when we would have more of a small thing, Ethan would text me like, oh, we're drinking at Xana's. And I'd always expect it to be a big party, but then it was ever too big. There was nights where it was like hit or miss.
How many people were there on average in a group setting?
It was packed. I mean, like, when the Delts showed up, and then our Sigma Chi guys, like, it was kind of like a rotation almost. Like, every couple of weeks there'd be a pretty big party at Xana's, and then, you know, on Thursdays it might be more of like a kickback, like I said. But when the Delts showed up and all of our guys showed up, I mean, it was shoulder to shoulder, people, like, right at the top of the stairs, and then, like, all on the couches, and then some in the kitchen, and then some in, like, Ethan and Xana's room. Like, there was always a couple people just kind of talking in there if they needed to get away from the noise. But
so now, when, excuse my ignorance of the language, but when you don't have an event here at your house, it's controlled, you gotta be on the list, etc. But over there, essentially, it sounds like with that crowded, essentially anybody could show up.
yeah, that's just how Xana, like, was. She was just very, like, accepting. So, like, no one, like, people knew, like, you never saw, like, Theta Chi's there, for example, right? Like, you never saw Sigma Nus. Like, it was more of a place for, like, Sigma Chi's, Delts, you know, some betas would show up rarely, but for the most part, it was Sigma Chi's, Delts, and then just hi-fis.
So the chance of just a random vandal walking up there and just hanging out in the middle of a party?
Yeah, you're probably very likely to get in. I mean, they had a door code, but I think almost everyone knew the door code. So
as long as someone's coming there and not causing an issue, they're probably not going to be.
Yeah, no, they're good. Like, last year, Xana lived in.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too, Jipaja. I do remember that Kaylee had friends that were older than her that had graduated like the year before. And it kind of sounds like she wasn't really into the whole partying thing. She was more older, so she would go to the clubs a lot, stuff like that. So I wonder. It's an interesting point of view for sure.
Shark Tank with some other Pi-Fis last year. It's that blue house by the there's that one house with the steps going up it over there on King Street, and then it's that blue house below it. We called that Shark Tank last year. And, like, I would ask them, like, hey, my little brother from high school, senior, wants to come up and party. Is that okay? Or I have friends at LC that want to come up. She'd be like, sure, like, let them in, welcome. So it was always a very, like, welcoming environment. Like, if you knew Xana, you knew that as long as your guests acted fine, like, she would not care that they were there.
I'm sorry about the ads. I have it set to the lowest setting. My apologies. I'm so sorry. Just try to shut them down when they come through.
So when you talk about Xana's place, Xana welcoming people, Xana was fine. Are you making that reference to Xana being the key person over there because of your relationship with Xana? Because I feel like Kaylee was also a senior. Kaylee moved in there first before Xana moved in there. So in your mind, are you referencing it being more Xana's house or more Kaylee's house, or?
Yeah, because just like Ethan would always text the group to like come over to Xana's. So I've always just known it as Xana's, and like since Xana was the main one that was always partying, or like she was the one that was like, yeah, let's hang out tonight. You know, like we'd be over at the White's and we'd be like, Xana, can we party at your place or things like that.
How old are you?
21.
You're 21.
I just turned 21 in August.
Okay, so have you found that you've started going like to the corner club more? Going to bars more, or are you still mostly?
Not really, just because, like, one, money.
Yeah.
And then two, none of the guys, I mean, there's a couple guys in my PC that are 21.
Yeah.
But I just didn't really enjoy going with some of the upperclassmen because, like, yeah, I get along with them. Everyone gets along. But I was just like, I'm just going to wait because I transferred from freshman year. And then I joined the house last year. So I'm pretty much older than everyone in my PC.
Yeah.
But I didn't, like, I didn't really get my, house parties and, like.
Okay, I turned the ads completely off, so hopefully it'll shut them down.
Playing Pong and, just a house and just, like,
right.
that, right? I didn't want to just go straight into, like, the bar scene. So I definitely try to spend as much time at, the Whites or Xana's or out of house, like, alleys. out of houses versus like I have 2 more years still. I can go to the bars then.
Yeah.
When my PC can go.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So Xana was the center of the get-togethers over there. So Kaylee and Maddie didn't have parties over there.
I mean, I don't think Kaylee really cared too much because, like, she would just come down, there'd be people over, and she would, like, grab food or something, and then she would walk back up. And then Maddie was always partying, too, for the most part. Like, when I would see Maddie there. I didn't see Maddie there all the time, but, like, I did see her there enough to where, like, I'd recognized her and been like, oh, Maddie lives here.
But what about...
They were there a lot.
They were there a lot.
They was always down to party, and was right there by her side.
Any unusual incidents happen that you recall? Anything
over there?
Over there, over here? Anybody have something stolen? Anybody have a window get broken? Vandalism of any kind?
Not this year that I can recall. Last year we had problems with... We had some betas. There was a beta and Delta apartment over at the Whites. And we had like $4,000 worth of stuff stolen. A couple MacBooks, like MacBook, our Pro Console. His MacBook was stolen because we pinged it over there at their apartment. There was like a $400 charge at Pullman Walmart at like 5 in the morning. But
so somebody stole a laptop, a MacBook here?
Yeah, that was
took it over there.
But yeah, and then we also had guys break in and steal some of our like Huntsman.
You got a question, bud? No? Okay. Just making sure.
Trophies. And I think that was probably more of a freshman thing that the house betas told their, kids to come steal it, but not anything this year that I'd say is like unusual.
Okay. Was Ethan a religious person?
He never went to church up here.
Do you ever see anybody around campus that's wearing a large knife?
Mm-mm.
You ever see anybody on campus wearing a big knife?
Yeah, and then they just move away from the question like there was nothing to it.
Nothing else to it behind it, and then it's dead quiet. There's a huge pause. Like, what the hell is this? This is such a joke.
Is this a different person interviewing him?
No, it's still Van Leuven.
Because he sounds completely different in some spots.
Yeah, his voice does change up a couple. I thought the same thing a couple times. It's weird, but it's still the same one. That's who he named himself to be, though, or at least so. Oh my God! Like I said, I could give this interview now with no fail. Probably hit every single question the exact same way. They're so regular now; it's ridiculous. Absolutely scripted.
They even ask the questions in the same order.
Say again.
They ask the questions in the same order.
Yeah, pretty much. Absolutely. Well, he claimed himself to be Detective Van Leuven in the beginning.
Have you ever seen anybody with this knife?
No.
There was a stalking incident with a pike that happened last year. Actually, I think it was earlier this year, regarding someone at the weights. Did you hear about that?
I did not.
Okay. Any talk? Did you ever hear any girls talking about the stalkers or anything like that?
Not really.
Two of the girls, Xana and Maddie, I think, worked at the Mad Greek. Did they ever talk about working there? If they had problems with anybody at work?
I never talked to them directly. I mean, Ethan would talk about because you get free food. But I never heard Xana when I was around her say anything about that. She seemed to enjoy it because she'd always be smiling when she got back from work.
Did Ethan have a job at all?
No. Like up here?
Yeah.
No.
What was his major?
I think it was business.
When this is over, I'll go back to the beginning to see if they claim any other name besides Van Leuven.
It's weird how none of them know what each other went to school for.
Yeah, it's a little odd. You'd think some of them shared classes for the same thing, too, in some senses, but it's a little odd, I agree. Hey, Fizzy.
Or doing anything interesting?
Sorry about that. The redaction. I thought I was trying to jump forward, but I guess it was paused, so here we go. And then it goes out again.
Did Ethan talk about taking any trips this summer or doing anything interesting this summer that you remember?
No, not that I can think of.
Did he have plans to take any trips that you know of?
No, I mean, we had our day to sig thing we do with the auctions for Derby Days where we all put on a skit. We were all planning on going to, I mean, that was this winter or next spring. We were going to decide as far as the roads went. But Kappa's bought our gig, and I was with Ethan. And our date for the thing was a weekend getaway in. So we were going to go to their place.
Ethan's family has a place.
Yeah, I think they just built it because the funeral was for the memorial, but they moved it and I'm not sure if they're fully moved in yet, but they were talking about like being fully moved. Like,
are they going to move there full time?
Yeah, I think that's the plan.
But they're going to still operate their business.
I don't know. I didn't really talk to Ethan about like the specs of it. I just know that they have a place in.
Okay.
And I mean, they grew up in, but I know that they were talking about it. Ethan said it was just like a super sick spot. So when we were trying to find a date idea, I'm like, why don't we just go to your guys' place?
What house was made?
Theta.
Did Ethan talk about where he wanted to live after he graduated?
No, we never really talked about that. We were trying to live together next year. Me, was like, we gotta get on this shit now, blah, blah, blah. We were gonna try to get the old Shark Tank, that blue house over there. The AKLs have it right now, but we were gonna try to get that. But as far as like afterwards, I think he was just gonna do whatever Santa wanted to do.
You think you plan on marrying her?
I don't know if he thought about it as much, but it was just like so easy for them that I think that like he was like, I just don't see myself without Santa. I mean, he wasn't a guy that like openly talked about his feelings a lot, you know, like we would talk about him, but I just think that he realized that like how good Santa was for him and like how well they got along and interacted that he never really like looked elsewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Rich, what did this?
Just a couple things. One, obviously we can't control what you talk about when we're done here, but we do ask discretion because in a lot of these cases, when we're doing this, when people hear about it, they make assumptions on what we're looking for, which is not always the case. So just we just kind of ask your discretion when you have this conversation about that to talk about later.
Okay, there's the second name, or the second voice. So yeah, there's two here, and only one of them identified, I believe, and that was Van Leuven.
And it would be better to just not talk about it at all because it may color it may color some of the other brothers' answers to these same questions.
Oh,
if you talk about it with them. So
no, yeah, absolutely. No, anything that'll make your guys' job easier.
And then the last thing is you understand this campus, the heartbeat, this organism, the differences and everything.
Question, bud?
So right there, you just confirmed it. It's the same questions for each sorority brother.
Every one of them. Yeah, we're about done now. But every one of them are exactly the same. I think they did one, maybe two follow-up questions in this, which is rare, but that's it. And you got two cops doing this. It's so strange to me.
Is there anything you feel we should be looking at? Any person we should be looking at? Anything you feel we're overlooking? Anything you think that can help this investigation?
You know, I really wish there was, but it just doesn't make sense. Like I said, I've been thinking about it, and like, there's like I've always like just felt safe here. Like it's a great place, and I don't know. There's no one that I'm like, oh fuck, he's sketchy, or blah blah blah. Like it's just a campus where like, yeah, you have your common fraternity beefs and all that, but it's never like there. I have never even heard like threats. Like I've never heard like at a fight someone be, and I haven't been around the fights that have happened. Like last year when the snoo got jumped by, or the Dell got jumped by a ton of snoos. I wasn't, but fights like there's never been any like threats or anything. Like it was just such a unproblematic campus. Like the most we would like, if we ever had beef, like we'd be like, oh, let's go egg their house, or things like that. But
right.
There's no one that just like sticks out, or not anything that I can tell you like to go look for, because I mean I wish I could, but it just doesn't.
Right.
So this is so I guess a really obvious question that I'm sure you would have said something if you had saw this, but did you ever observe anybody, like some rando dude walking around over there, or
sitting in his car that was kind of
just at like random times when I'd go over there.
Yeah, Jim would go over there and be like, some guy sitting out in his car out there, or some dude out there smoking a cigarette looks kind of sketchy. Or I can tell you, going over there, just driving around a few times over the last couple of weeks, that there are some kind of random people over there, I've noticed.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't seem like someone to be worried about, but like there was always a dude over by this dumpster straight across where there's that vending machine outside. I mean, he would always be out there smoking a cigarette, but I never got like a sketchy vibe, I guess. Like I never was like, I don't know, because like just that area is just like, it's filled with college kids who are drunk, right? Like the walk between the whites and Xana's place, there's that back stairway. Like,
that's the other police officer that he didn't identify in the beginning of the interview. It was only Van Leuven that did, so I don't know who this guy is.
And we'd always be scared to take that because there'd be cops. But like it was so dark, but like you just never felt like unsafe. So I can't think of anyone that's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't go that way because of this person. But there's no one that really stood out, I guess.
Okay. So, sorry, a couple more. But I want to put some context to this question before I ask it so you understand why I'm asking it. Once we do catch the killer, which hopefully we do, the defense is always going to try to point fingers elsewhere, right? So everybody we talk to, we need them to tell us what their alibi was. You ever heard of the term of alibi?
Yeah.
So alibi is basically, we need to know where you were so it couldn't be you. So don't get offended by that question, but understand that's something we've got to get from everybody. So can you just plainly state what your alibi was, where you were when this all occurred that evening?
Yeah, so it was my little brother's parents' weekend over at WSU. Okay. So I took off Friday around, I want to say I got over to Pullman at my brother's place at 2 or 3. Parents were there. My little brother had to take some tests or whatever. But he finally got back, met up with us. So I was in Pullman the entire weekend, and that was at the dorms. And I got back here at around 11 o'clock, and it's actually really sad because I came in here expecting to see Ethan playing video games because he's usually in here. And I was like, oh, he's not in here. So I was like, all right, I'm going to I have a spare bed because I lived in a 6-man last year, and with my 1 man, I just left my bed over the summer. So now, I like to put people up because I have my 1 man. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to throw the bed down in here, pillow here, throw a show on, like Lazy Sunday, how they usually were. But I'm like, no, I can't do that. Ethan's going to come play video games soon. And he just never came, and then I was sitting in here, and then came in and told me the news that he had gotten a call, and someone said that Ethan and Xana were found unconscious, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, I was in Pullman the entire weekend.
Friday till 11 a.m. Sunday.
Right, yes.
Do you have any issues if we come back and ask you for a DNA sample?
No. I mean, as far as, I don't know how DNA all works, but, I've obviously partied in that house. So, is that a thing that,
No. You wouldn't have to worry about it. The DNA sample is just, so when you do fingerprints, you do what's referred to as elimination fingerprints, right? So when you have DNA samples or fingerprints, you say, okay, we know this guy couldn't have done it. You're in Pullman.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Interesting.
What's up, Junior?
Oh, just got done working, eating, and then and here I am.
Welcome back. Yeah, that was an interesting question. The way he questioned it, though, I mean, I get it, I guess, but I don't know. It's a little off.
We can, if your DNA shows up, say, oh, that's his DNA, we don't throw that out. Type stuff.
Oh, okay.
So we're gathering DNA just in case.
Yeah. No, I would be. Would I have to drive back up to Moscow for that?
No.
I wouldn't.
No.
Okay, just as far as roads go.
I wouldn't worry about that. I don't think that's something we're going to ask you for, but we appreciate you being willing to offer it.
But yeah.
Wait a minute. Well, why are you setting the expectation of, oh no, we're not going to get your DNA?
Good question, buddy.
Absolutely no stone should go unturned, especially at this point.
Agreed. 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 I will say I agree.
That's all I guess.
What kind of car do you drive?
I drive a
What color?
silver or blue, depends on. It's like a light silver, but it's been called blue. It's up in the parking lot. If you'd like.
Why
I'm
is that
sorry, I would
redacted?
say silver, but I've heard people say.
Why is that redacted? I just don't understand any of these redactions anymore. I don't at all. They're driving me nuts, but okay.
What year?
2011 or 12. It was my sister's old high school car. But I would have been in a Chevy Traverse that day because I was in my parents' rig because they dropped me off.
Convenient.
Okay. Well, we're going to stop the interview at 6:52.
And I'm going to go back to see if this guy identifies. Hold on.
I'm here with Detective Rich Alderson, and we're interviewing.
Okay, somebody. He identified him for him. He said, detectives, hold on.
This is Detective Sergeant Mike Van Leuven. Okay, it's December 21st or December 1st, 2022. This is Detective Sergeant Mike Van Leuven. It is 6 p.m. I'm here with Detective Rich Alderson, and I will start. Okay, it's December 21st or December 1st, 2022. This is Detective Sergeant Mike Van Leuven. It is 6 p.m. I'm here with Detective Rich Alderson, and we're interviewing.
I think he said Detective Rich Alderson. So I didn't catch that in the beginning. So my apologies, you guys. Yeah, okay. Interesting. So that is that. He was way more talkative than the rest. Welcome, Eddie. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Hope you're doing well. And my apologies for insulting Summer. I saw your comment.
Whose comment? My comment?
You said something about how dare you something with Summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
How
you
dare
love
you
Summer,
talk
bud.
about
I get
Summer
it.
like that? I thought Summer was a person. I forgot it was so early in your show that
No, yeah, no, it's okay. I hate summer. I just don't. I don't mind the sunlight and the sunshine. All that. I hate the heat. I just never like the heat. That's all.
Give me early January, Green Bay, Wisconsin weather all year round.
Dago, I have nothing to add, conversation-wise, to any of these like fraternity.
They're all the same.
Interviews.
It's the same thing. I could give the damn interview myself now, so I don't blame you on that one. There shouldn't be. They're all scripted, every bit of it. So, yeah,
I think they knew at this point. They knew to look, and sniffing down avenues and trails where they knew it wouldn't lead to anything.
Yeah.
Look everywhere except for where the true perpetrators, answers lie, and also avoid talking about, anything that would lead to Brian Kohlberger too, because those would be two separate investigations.
Yeah.
If you follow what I'm saying.
No, 100%, dude. And I'm gonna tell you, we know that all of these were roughly the same point, December 1st or whatever, but they had a period of time. And from my understanding, years ago, we were told that Stigmatide didn't want to talk at all. They weren't going to talk about any of this for whatever reason. And I knew that couldn't have been, and we still haven't gotten them all. There's a few people in here that haven't been spoken to. One, most importantly, two are actually David Barracoa and David Loach need to be talked to. I want to hear those, and it's amazing that I haven't found those yet. If they even talk to them, and if they didn't, that's going to tell me even more of what everybody has been saying. Okay, nobody talks about the fight. Every bit of it's scripted, 100%. It's just a script, and I know there's a form they're following. I get that, but I think that part of the reason why it was such a long period of time before these interviews were done was so that all of these guys could basically, I hate to say it like this, but read through the script and know what they're not going to talk about, what they are going to talk about, end the story, and they're all on the same page. That's just how I feel on it. So,
Yeah, I the only
Dago,
part
the
of the
reason I
interview
came
that
up
I've
here, this was fascinating to me. I know it's kind of we're taking a left turn on a sideline conversation, but
no, it's all good.
Because he's a frat guy that's being interviewed, and when he's asked about giving up his DNA, is this the new normal? Is that to be considered? Like, am I considered a suspect in this? Because if so, then maybe, but as of right now, no. You have no business taking my DNA. Is that how this works now? Is that the new normal?
I mean, I don't know if it is with everything, but it seems to be in this case.
I mean, no, I'm talking about like, because Dylan.
Or did I misunderstand you?
And you agreed with Dylan. Dylan said, you gotta nothing, no stone unturned.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And you
No,
said I agree.
In a case like this, everything should be no stone unturned.
So
no
just
stone.
just like get the DNA, get from everybody. It's like, Dago, you were working at the whatever retailer that night. We'll get yours too.
Well, okay. Well, no. Okay. Let me.
You know what I'm saying? Like I gave you my alibi. Now, if that doesn't check out, then you can examine me further. But until then, you have no business taking my DNA.
At that point, I see what you're saying. Now, in this case, if anybody was close to them, anybody was in the house that night, I agree with that. But I mean, I guess maybe no stone unturned, meaning, if they're not gonna, I guess I gotta agree with you now too. If you check out my alibi and it doesn't check out, then we go that route, because a lot of people aren't comfortable with giving DNA nowadays. They just aren't. I get it.
Yeah, like,
and we know why now. Okay.
Am I considered like uncooperative because I'm telling you no?
I don't think so.
No, think of that though. That's the reality we're in now. It's like, is it such a new normal that you just, if you're asked to give up the DNA, you just give it up, because otherwise you'll be looked upon as
a criminal,
having something to hide. You're not cooperating.
Yeah, that does happen. It does happen.
Well,
anyway, I didn't mean to get us going in a tangent, but
no, it's okay.
It's a fascinating conversation.
That's what we do. We talk about it, everything.
So here's the thing. It was for me. It was setting.
I did want to come up here and say.
Hold on, Eddie. Can you hear Dylan talking or no?
No.
Okay.
Let me hop out and then
you're good.
Come back.
Come on back. Yeah, I figured he couldn't hear you, Dylan. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, it was more of why is he setting the expectation of, oh, we're not going to be asking for your DNA. Don't worry about it. That
is another issue too. I agree with that too.
Now he's well within his right to say no. Screw off. You ain't getting my DNA. That's not my issue. Albeit the way that he kind of danced around it was odd. But when he said, but when the officer said, I wouldn't worry about it. We probably won't come for your DNA. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's setting an expectation. But I know, like, I can see this on both angles. I really can.
Yeah, Eddie's absolutely correct. I'm not like, he's absolutely correct. But my big thing is the expectation on the side of the police to set that sort of expectation already out of the gate without verifying anything that he said.
We probably
don't worry
won't
about
come
it.
for it. Yeah, I agree that. Well, listen, I'm not comfortable even remotely with how MPD handled this investigation, or their lack of, I should say, at all. So that's just one more thing to add to this. And, even the people that aren't MPD that were working with MPD, this is just a couple more things to add to the list of things we're uncomfortable with, in my opinion. So anyway, can you hear us all now, Eddie?
Yes, everything's better now.
All right, Moto, say something real fast, bud. I want to make sure he can hear you too.
Yeah, I can hear everyone.
All right, and you heard him too,
Yeah,
Ed?
I heard Mo. Hi, Mo.
All right, good stuff. I don't know why that happens. It drives me nuts. So no, I get I agree with that too. Like, you should never set an expectation. Don't worry about it. We're never going to come, probably not going to come for your DNA anyway, so on and so forth, because you don't know. And then in turn, when that happens, there's a problem. So just saying again. But their turn, I agree with Eddie on the same thing. Like, it shouldn't be expected to immediately have to give DNA. And when you don't, they're going to look at you like you did something wrong. It's absolute. That's a fact, in my opinion. So not everybody wants to do that. And there's reasons why. This case is a big reason why, okay? Because I don't trust anybody, just anybody. This is why I don't do the 23andMe or any of that shit. I just don't trust it. And we know why, okay? So I have to agree on both ends of the spectrum with that side of things. So
I think for kicks and giggles one day, I'm going to do that 23andMe, except I'm going to put the cotton swab in like an orange and see what happens.
So then it'll come back that your dad was the Kool-Aid man or something. Who knows?
Probably. I'm going to leave that.
That'll just be proof that I'm not your dad. I can stop sending them checks to your mother. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Anyway, so
by the way, the next one's due the 25th.
Yeah, right. So, like Eddie said, I don't think any of us really have anything to add to these Sigma Chi interviews. There's nothing there to add to it because they're all. I don't believe in that it's anything. It's all scripted, and they're following a victimology report. I know that, but it's all scripted anyway, and I think it's scripted on both sides. I'll be truly honest with you guys. I think that one of the reasons why it took so long to get to Sigma Chi, they should have been questioned right away, in my opinion. Okay, but they weren't. It was a month later, almost, in some aspects. And it gave them time to all get their stories together and say what they got to say. I don't like that. That's just me. So, I don't know what. Go ahead.
I mean, that's why I never really bothered to look at the last couple of interviews, because it's all going to be the same thing. Ethan and Xana, their Lovebird's going to go all the way, no question. Maddie, yeah, we've seen her once or twice. Kaylee who?
They were all super nice. Pretty much. Yeah. That's and like Moto said, they're in order, obviously, because they're following the sheet, but every damn question's the same. They redacted everything the same way too. As soon as you bring up Ethan's parents, it's done. As soon as you talk about money, it's done. It's every time. So
and actually, if you want to get real technical, the state of Idaho should be held in contempt.
For what reason?
Because the redactions are only allowed to be like personal information, and names don't count as that. In the
yeah, you shouldn't be redacting nouns, verbs, and pronouns. I'm sorry, but they redact everything, dude. It's crazy. This is a waste, in my opinion. Every one of those interviews is a waste of taxpayer money and time, because they knew they were going to get nothing from it. It was just follow the leader. Let's continue reading the script, as how I see that. So, just saying.
Yeah, can I add to that a little bit?
Oh, of course. That's why you're here, brother.
I totally think that there are 3 investigations that took place. So you have the Brian Kohlberger investigation, because you have to have work product for that. I mean, this is your guy, so there's going to be, hearings and a trial, etc. So that's very complicated because he didn't do it. So this investigation is going to be the cover story, if you will. In other words, the official findings, the official investigation.
Yeah.
He stalked He studied criminology. He drove a white car. Phone stopped reporting to the network. He changed his registration. He drove at night. He Googled the Idaho 4 case on the 16th of November, bushy eyebrows.
Every bit of it.
Et cetera, et cetera. And that's complicated because how do you make square block fit into a round hole? You got to try to make it look
exactly
legit,
make it look.
But that's going to be a complicated thing.
Yes.
Then the other investigation would be the actual perpetrators, who they know. They know who did it. And this is not complicated. They can breeze right through this investigation. It's clandestine. It's unofficial. There's no work product for that. You'll never know about it. There's no paper trail for it. But it's plagued by misfortune, such as a refrigerator breaks down.
Right.
So, and then lastly, the third investigation is the cover story investigation. Because you have to, you have to start somewhere. You just can't automatically hop to Bryan Kohberger. So you got to look at other things. Like, I wonder, so what we're seeing here is that third investigation. Mm-hmm. It's the cover story. It's performed like side by side of the Bryan Kohberger investigation.
Mm-hmm.
It's going through the motions, and it's sniffing down every trail, but the trail that would lead to the real answers, the truths.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
In other words, for example, going into Troy, Idaho, and Kendrick, Idaho. So you're on the clock and you're getting paid to search like that. But what they're looking for when doing that is not Bryan Kohberger, because they know it's not Bryan Kohberger.
Right.
They're actually on the clock doing this cover story investigation, but looking for the real perpetrators.
Yeah. Makes sense. Actually, I'm going to call you. I'm going to add something to what you said, if you don't mind, real quick. I think there's four investigations. Everything you said, and then there is, and I hate to say this, you guys, but the further in we get, the more I see it. Can you guys still hear me okay? Did my sound change at all?
Nope. That was good.
Gotcha.
Okay. The further we get into this, I believe there's 4 investigations. And the fourth one is the cover-up of the cover-up, if that makes any sense to you guys. Because there is. They are now trying to cover up the fact that they covered this up, period. And they're working hard on that, too. So there's 4. That's how I see it. So I like the way you put that, Eddie, as always. But anyway, moving on, Miss Jessie, moving on. I guess do I say that a lot, you guys? I want your opinions, all 3 of you guys. Do I say moving on a lot?
I don't feel like it.
Jesse said I did. I think I do. We're going to put that on a t-shirt since I say it so much and add it to our store. So anyway, I say it now because she called me on it. So now I catch myself saying it. So anyway, moving on. See, there it is. It's one of them things. Anyway, so again, we've all come to the point where where we have realized that these interviews are a joke. I think all of them have been a joke. I don't think there's one interview that I've heard that really, truly, floored me with anybody. And that goes back with some of the girls or any of that. So none of them have given me anything exciting to think on. Nothing. So there's that. Give me a second, Fizzy. Just give me 1 second. Moving forward, Fizz. Anyway, so I'm sure all 3 of you guys agree. I know Eddie, his point is on this and always has been, and I hear your points too. So anything to add to any of this before we move into the next part of this?
No,
I do have something that's kind of off topic, but still relevant to the overall case.
What would that be, my friend?
I got Grok to fix the timeline in the Chapter 9 thing.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and I got it in the Discord.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's Yeah, with that 24-hour, I just had it be midnight, and then I put it together. I pretty much rearranged everything to where it's all in chronological order. And
Gotcha. That was irritating as hell. Very
So-
irritating. I felt stupid for about 10 minutes while I was trying to read through that, even though I probably am compared to some things with this, but that really made me, I was like, Jesus Christ, what are they doing with this? It was a mess. So anyway, that's a good thing. Good to know. And it keeps does it change anything, Dylan? I don't think it would, but
It's been all day since I've looked at it, and it took a lot of cussing to get there, but me and Grok got there.
sounds like you got, it sounds like you got your thumb over Grok now. You got control of your Grok there, huh?
It took a minute, but I finally got her to do what I needed her to do.
That's good to know. Good to know. Building a relationship. There you go.
But
you use Grok, don't you, Eddie?
No, and I don't want to go on a tangent with that. I have spoken
We won't.
I have spoken about it. You're right, but in its purest form, in other words, like the definition of it, which by the way, Grok was a vocabulary word before it's this Grok that we're speaking of. That Dylan uses.
Right.
Is like an AI assistance.
Yeah.
Research aid or whatever. And
it's
the
wild.
Fun fact is when I was talking about Grok on your program, the first time, I never knew there was such thing as Grok, as Dylan is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
That is wild. I did not realize. I thought that's why you were talking about it, because you knew about that. So that's interesting. Interesting. Good to know. Good to know. I'm sure you were here for the day that Dylan overtook his Grok and
yes, and that was fascinating.
It was a great show. He did a great job with that. I'm very impressed with you, buddy. So
yeah, I was sorry.
It is.
Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to add, it is posted on my YouTube channel for anybody who doesn't have Discord.
Yeah, if we can drop the Hildreth Investigates link, guys, please, and thank you if you wouldn't mind, moderators. Thank you.
And I was also able to use the timeline alone to get Grok to break down and say, "Oh yeah, that's prosecutorial misconduct."
I love it. I love it.
Because
I'd like to put this. I'd love to play that in front of Judge Hippler just to watch his reaction to it. You're a conspiracy theorist.
The work product was the part that I was very fascinated with, because that's where every interesting thing's getting hidden in this. And pretty much what that means is they got it from somewhere, but not Ethan's phone. It wasn't in the phone data.
I'm curious with some of what is in this, what work product truly is. I would love to know the actual source of it. I know I never will, but I would like to know.
And Grok tried to fight me on it too. It was like, well, maybe the phone was damaged. Well, then how were they able to get other stuff off there? Oh yeah, you're right.
Interesting. Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. Good stuff. Hold on 1 minute.
But yeah, pretty much what that work product means is they didn't want to disclose where they got it, so they just put work product, is pretty much what that meant. So quite frankly, just use Occam's razor. If Ethan got 5 FaceTimes, well, obviously it came from Ethan's phone. Ethan gets a text.
Sorry about that. My son just got home.
You're being cheated on.
All right. Moving on to the star of the show. The big reason why we're here.
Me.
I should say. We're going to review the Christopher Whitcomb interview. And I know, before it's even said, there's many people that have many different feelings on this. Good, bad. Either way you go. People don't trust him. People do trust him. People hate him. People love him. People like him. People dislike him. That's what's great about this, because there's so many different mindsets with this. Okay? So, Say something, Dylan.
Something.
You're muted, dude.
No, I'm not.
You're not muted? What happened?
Mm-mm.
Hang on.
Can you hear me now?
I could hear Dylan
Not
every
muted.
single time.
What the hell's going on with this? Eddie, say something real quick for me.
What I'm going to say is I'm getting a lot of feedback.
All right, I got
from
it.
someone's.
Yeah, I think
microphone.
it's Moto. It's coming. Hold on a minute. Let me try something. Nope, it's muted. It says. Let me try my end. Unmute real quick, Moto. Let me try it from this side and see if it changes something. All right. Go ahead now. Say something, Dylan.
Something.
Okay. Are you still hearing feedback, Eddie?
No, it's better now.
Okay. I don't know why it's doing that. It's weird. Are you on a phone, Moto, or are you on
I think he's on a phone.
a PC? Oh, wait a minute.
I'm on a phone.
Okay, that's what it is. So I may have to mute on this side from time to time, but I think the feedback's coming through you for some weird reason. I don't know why it's doing that, but it's just like a squiggy sounding like alien sound or something. I don't know how to put it.
That's why I always try to mute after I speak.
I got you. No problem. Okay. So, like I said, on we go. We're going to start breaking down, and I don't know if we'll make it through the whole thing. We might have to come back tomorrow, but we're going to break down and discuss everything about this front to back, and a stop, start, back up, reverse, forward, upside down, stand on my head, whatever you need me to do, we will. And everybody's allowed to have their own feelings, and I want everybody to please, as we always do with everything, respect each other's opinions and feelings and issues and so on and so forth. That's all we have to do. The only rule we have. Lucy, good to see you, dear. Carol Ann, welcome. And before we get started, any questions, thoughts, feelings, opinions, anything? Anybody need to fill up their cup, take a shit, whatever you got to do? Let me know.
Yes. Thanks for asking.
Go for it.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's part of the reason why I wanted to come up is because a lot of people are asking my opinions on this, and so I
think I know your opinion, but that's okay. Go for it.
Yeah. So when it comes to hearsay, how I feel, and there's been a lot of like controlled opposition in this case. We've seen many examples of it, and
of course,
I'm on top of that. I'm a very skeptical person, just generally.
As I know, yes, sir.
And then when I identify one thing where someone has deceived intentionally, that throws everything else that they're doing into question, and they undermine their own credibility by doing that. So even if it means I'm standing alone,
you're never going to be
with this
alone in here,
opinion.
Eddie. Regardless of where you go, you'll never be alone. You know that.
I just want it on the record that this feels wrong to me. And even though you and I have a different opinion about the vehicle, the 4:29 or 4:30 a.m. vehicle.
The Chapin video or vehicle, yeah, I know.
That's a different discussion for a different day. That would take a while.
Sure.
We'd have to, establish the facts and examine all that. But right there is a lie, in my opinion. So I just wanted to get that out there on the record.
Yeah, I think I saw you say that either earlier or the last time you were in here or something like that. But no, it's fine. I know how, like, me and you have disagreed on things before, and we still respect each other enough to be able to handle that.
Absolutely.
So
this doesn't jeopardize anything as far as friendship goes.
No. Never will. Never will. And I'm grateful for that because, and I like to see other people be that way too, because there's going to be things that people are going to be head-to-head opposition on. Okay, folks, head-to-head. It doesn't change anything. We're all still here for the same reason. Okay? And that's what always needs to be remembered. If there's people in here that believe Eddie said that a statement that was made was a lie. There's other people that are going to say, no way, no way, no way, and believe that. That's fine. That doesn't mean there needs to be anger or just going at it. We just don't do that over here. That's all I'm saying. So it'll be okay. It's no big deal. We can have the opposing feelings about things and still move forward through everything. So I just want that known. And everybody, please, that's my biggest rule because I see this happen in multiple other communities and I won't put up with it. You guys know that because I respect you all so much. That's all I want you all to do is respect each other because we are all important. Our opinions, feelings, thoughts, every one of them. I don't care what it is. I don't care if somebody says they think the aliens landed, as Busy would say, baby aliens in the field, and that's important because it's your opinion. That's why it's important. Okay, it may be out there, but I'm not going to treat you like a piece of garbage because you feel that way. That's all I want to be known. So, thank you, and that's all I ask of you guys. Period. And so, just going forward, if Eddie has an opinion on something, and Moto's is different or whatever, please respect their feelings and their opinions. You don't really have to respect Dylan so much because, I'll just put him in his room and not feed him dinner for a week or whatever, and he'll be grounded. That is what I'm just kidding. No, respect everybody, please. That's all I ask, guys. Nothing more, nothing less. So, on we go.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, bud.
Well,
go ahead.
I was just going to say I'm actually kind of in the middle here because I think I do believe Chris means absolutely well. However, there are some things I have some serious problems with on his conclusions.
I have questions myself. Yeah.
And but you also have to acknowledge that a lot of things, like if he's digging in through reports and interviews, it's kind of like getting water from a poisonous well. Those are not intended for you to come to the correct conclusion. Now, when it comes to the photographic evidence, the ones that are more left up to not so much interpretation, but can't so much be manipulated, that is where he has absolutely thrived. And that's where his bread and butter is going to be.
Sure.
Now,
Sure.
Now, there was a couple. Now, I think when he said that that Moscow PD did a great job, I think that's more of just saving, kind of saving face.
I'm going to say it right out. Yeah, I'm going to say it right out front. There's a lot of things that he said that a lot of us disagree with, and I'm going to tell you right now, he has to say certain things. These are things that he told us behind the scenes. Okay.
Yeah.
He can't just come out and speak specifics. He can't, a lot of us are like, fuck Moscow PD, blah, 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 blah. But he can't say stuff like that. He just can't. So that has to be understood. So
yeah, that's kind of what that felt like, because then every time he says that, then he goes into, well, they did this, that, and the other. That didn't make sense.
And my thoughts with him, with Brian Koberger and other people that are involved in this go the same direction for that. And that's how I see it. With this book, when I read this book, when I read this book, I didn't think of it at first until I started reading it, and then certain things were discussed. I read between the lines, folks. I'm not reading this book direct. This book is not put out to say, hey, this is who did this and why they did it. This is who didn't do this. Here's who screwed up the case. It's not written like that. And I see it as a resource that he wrote, knowing what we do, and you see where he came directly to first. Okay, was this community, this platform. It's a resource or a tool, however you call it, in my opinion, to be able for us to continue to do what we do with what he gives us in the book. That's how I see it. Others may disagree, and I respect that fully, but that's how I personally see it, and that's how I'm going to approach it the best I can. So whatever anybody else does, I fully respect and understand. If you hate this book, I still love you, and especially if you're part of this community. Truly and honestly, I do. So just know that, okay?
Yeah, and even in my instant reaction that I did, I said this book is still going to be absolutely incredible. This is going to be a catalyst for a lot of things that's going to be coming down the pike. But I do have some serious concerns about some of the conclusions that he's come to. Primarily the 1112 or the 227 scream.
Yeah,
when he
I know a lot of
Curry
people. I have issues with that myself.
That I nearly fell out of my chair. And then the other one was, and I don't know if this was kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing of read between the lines, but when he said that the stomach contents weren't important.
Well, that's something we're going to talk on because he didn't quite say it like that. But what he did say gave me, it threw questions like crazy because I have a feeling on that. I'll say that. And as far as your question, Fizzy, basically defamation of character. If he were to talk about somebody that he shouldn't, I'll say that. That's what I mean by that as far as a defamation of character suit. And that's not something as an author you want to have to go through. So that's all I see. But yeah, agree with you, Dylan, and so on and so forth. So on we go.
Daniel, I just have.
Oh yeah, go ahead, bud.
Unless Moto wants to say something first, because he hasn't said his piece. If he's got something to say.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence. I really don't know why he seems to have that same. I don't know if it's he obviously has no opinions, but he seems to think that Brian is still guilty of the crime because he pleaded guilty for the crime, but he seems like he's holding something back, like he knows something that we don't that proves his guilt. And that's kind of been picking at me all day.
A lot of people have said that too. I don't think he sees it that way. I think, again, he has to say things a certain way. I don't feel that he thinks Brian's guilty in that sense.
I mean, it doesn't bother me. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Sure.
And
sure.
his book is gonna, obviously show us his facts. But also, I also got thinking today. You've read the book, right, Dago?
Yeah, I read it all.
So is there anything in that book that links to certain documents or stuff that we haven't seen yet that has been unreleased to us, but that has been released to him?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Tons of it. And I'll quote certain things on it that were in chapter 1. But go ahead.
So we can be incredibly thankful that he's been able to release those to us.
That I will say, yes. And I will say one thing about this, that it's not I don't want it to be a spoiler, but it's in chapter 1. I believe it was released already, and it's a huge thing to me. And one of the main things he says, and he proclaimed it before and after this, he reached out and got everything. He has everything according to what he said. All the discovery, everything you can get on this, he said he has it, okay? One of the main things he said that caught my attention immediately was that he found a monstrous amount, and I mean a monstrous amount of exculpatory evidence buried in files that were severely mislabeled, to the point where he questions whether Ann Taylor saw this or not. Okay? So I'll say that right out before we go any further with this. That was stated and talked about too. I don't remember if it was in an interview or not because it's been a couple of days, but that was brought up and it was in the book. And I thought it was chapter 1, the one that was released already. So that is there. Okay. There's multiple things that were found that are severely exculpatory from my understanding. So there's that. Take that with whatever you will, and then on we'll go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do feel like he's holding some sort of smoking gun, not on Brian, but on somebody. That's my feel on it.
And I Lee said this last night or the night after. I can't remember what day it is this week. My week is so screwed up. It's been a crazy week. I'm predicting this is a walkway into something huge that's coming down the road. Is all I'm going to say. This is and if I'm wrong, then you can call me out on it. Shove the crow in my mouth, in my ass, wherever you want to put the crow, I'll eat it. Okay. I'm just telling you, and shut up, Dylan. I'm just telling you that I have a prediction that this is going to open the door to something huge coming down the road, is all I'm saying with this case. Okay.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely. You can say as much as you guys want. That's why you're up here.
So the more and more I hear him speak about the house, about the tables, about the rooms, the more and more I feel like almost like my original thoughts this was all a trap for somebody to walk into and honestly just play the fall guy.
Could be. That's a good point. Very good point. Very good point. Fizzy, from my understanding, he did this all on his own. It took a long time, but he did it all on his own. So, no, that's a good point, Moto. Very good point. I can see that. Truly. So, okay. Now, like I said, as we go through this, and of course, Eddie, you know this already, but Dylan, Moto, anybody over here, if you guys want me to stop, back up, freeze, replay, slow down, whatever you want me to do, let me know, and I will have no problem doing it. We're not going to get through this all today, but we're going to break this all down bit by bit, okay? So, on we go. Moving forward, Miss Jessie.
And then
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment that I have been so excited to get into. Christopher Whitcomb and his book that I think is going to change the narrative in the Idaho 4 case. After 3 years, many of us have been beaten up, asking questions, being shamed for asking questions and not leaving the families alone. But this book's going to finally give us permission, in my opinion. Christopher, this book, I cannot wait to get into it with you. Tell us a little bit about when you started. When did you decide to write this book in the first place?
I decided to write this book shortly before the change of plea hearing. That it was set for trial, and I had just started. I was in the final stages of working on another book about a mysterious disappearance called the Springfield 3. It's also a very widely known and talked about case in the true crime community. And I have a friend, a former FBI colleague, and he came over to talk to me about the case. He had just solved another cold case, and he had just gotten 2 guys prosecuted for murder 35 years after the fact. So we were talking about what we were going to do next, and he told me about this case, and I had not really looked at this case at all. I knew very, very little about it. And when I did look into it, I thought, well, prosecution has it pretty well sorted. All the evidence seems sound.
I will say one thing before we get further into this, too, that I want to make sure it's known, because I know people were asking questions about Brent Kopacka. My understanding, unless I misheard this, is that there were 24 or 25 pages that were withheld from this that were talking about that. They would not allow him to put in the book. So take that for whatever it is, but that is something I know was stated. So that will explain that to some extent, okay? For anybody that had questions. I do see a couple of you guys talk. It's 25. Yeah, I see you guys talking about over there too. So I want to make sure that's known right out of the gate before anybody questions it.
It was moving toward trial, and I figured, why would I have any interest in it whatsoever? You know, it seemed very straightforward, very cut and dried. And then he showed me parts of the file. Then he showed me things that he had seen that I had not. He showed me, we discussed things that he knew that I did not. And then I'd say within a few days, I decided there was something really significant about this case in particular. And that's when I got involved.
I think it stunned a lot of us, because some of us, that have been getting into the weeds for 3 years, we thought it was a largely circumstantial case. It didn't look like an open and shut case to us. And we're like, well, wait a minute. You've got cell phone pings that ping off the tower that services the house. That's not the same thing as he was stalking the girls outside the house. And there was a lot of things that I personally was excited for the trial, because I said, this is a largely circumstantial case. And in large part, I think, honestly, they were... if you listen to their wording, I'm not sure they were even going to present the DNA evidence, which is the number one thing I think the public has been convinced that Kohberger was the guy, because they got his DNA. How can you argue about it? It's a done deal. I want to take you back.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, right. I think everyone in America did. I think everyone in the world. In fact, this is an international case. People watch this from Australia and Europe and all over the place. I mean, this is a huge deal. I want to go back to the plea deal. It was July 2nd, 2025, and I was actually in the courthouse when he changed his plea, and it stunned me, because 2.5 years he's maintained his factual innocence, and then all of a sudden they're saying, do you agree that you killed these 4 people? And he says yes, yes, yes. And I'm just thinking, how can this be? This doesn't make any sense. The biggest part I think that really stunned me was when Judge Hippler asked the states to do a recitation of what their case would have been had it gone to trial. And to my surprise, and I really want to quote Bill Thompson directly here when I say this. when he says, please present your recitation so that Kohberger could hear what it is you would have shown against him. He said, Your Honor, this organization's recitation is different from what the court and the public may be familiar with from the probable cause affidavit and other documents. And right out of the way, I'm thinking to myself, how can it be different than what we've heard for 3 years? You're going into trial now, and we're going to hear something different today than the public has heard and what we believed was in the PCA and what we believe were in the other documents. And when they laid it out, it sounded like literally he might have well have said, if you.
All right, I'm stepping away for 1 minute to get a refill on my coffee. I'm going to let this play. As soon as I get back, if you guys need me to back up, you let me know, and I will definitely have no problem doing it. I'll be right back.
You listen carefully. I can't place Brian Kohberger in the house. I can only place him near the house. How impactful is it to think that what would have been presented to the jury had it gone to trial is not at all what we all thought it was for 3 years?
That's a big question, Lee. That's a very big question. And I'll say kind of the same thing. In my perspective, I've lived an unusual life in that I've done a lot of different things, but your viewers may not know that I was, for a long time, I was an FBI agent. I started as a journalist. I was a print newspaper reporter, covered a police beat. And then after that, I wrote for various publications. I was a staff writer, GQ magazine. Most people wouldn't think that to be high-end journalism, but I covered the war on terror. And I went to Afghanistan and various things. I had an op-ed contract with the New York Times, and I worked for about 5 years for NBC as an on-air analyst, a Today Show, Nightly News. I had a show on CNBC. I said it only because I've come at this from two different angles. One, as a journalist, print and broadcast journalist, I have written, I think this is my 6th published book, and I was an FBI agent. So I have an unusual, perhaps, skill set, which would be criminal investigative training and experience working as a journalist. And they don't go together. Often, many people will understand that the police and the media often don't see things the same way. Both investigations, both doing the very best they can at their own, the fourth estate versus law enforcement. So a similar mechanism, but a different perspective. When I found out about this case from an FBI agent, a former FBI agent, I went back and I looked at the journalistic side of this thing, and it is so widely covered, as you just said. It's been covered by major mainstream media groups, podcasts, the new era, you and the new era of examination, which is podcasts. True crime is a big thing. So we also have thousands, hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of people that are familiar with the facts of this case as they were presented. So as I started looking with scrutiny, investigatively, both the law enforcement side and the journalist side, my first reaction was kind of what you just brought up. And I looked at this and I said, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. I've presented violent crimes to a grand jury. So I understand gathering the evidence, producing a volume of evidence that goes to a prosecutor. The prosecutor, state, local, or federal, takes it to a grand jury. That leads, in this case, to an indictment. An indictment is the charge. The charge eventually, at least in this case, was going to go to trial based on a plea of not guilty. That all changed, as you just said, in July. Right. And when I found out about the case, thinking it was going to go to trial, and then realizing very, very quickly that he was changing his plea, I thought the same thing. What happened? What changed? And it went from, okay, there's no point in doing this case. I mean, Brian Kohberger pled guilty. There's no point in doing a book. There's no point in looking at the case. And I just said, okay, enough. I'll move on to the next one. I wasn't looking at this case to do a story on this case. I was looking at what I'm going to do for my next 6 months or a year writing a book. Could have been anything. What changed very quickly is what you just brought up. What changed very quickly was that when prosecutor Bill Thompson stood up and recited the facts of the case at Judge Hippler's direction, I had the same reaction. And I thought, this is a quadruple homicide, one of the most sensationalized cases of the century, maybe the most. And it involves the horrific murder of 4 young people. How is this possible? Is this what would have been presented at a death penalty trial? And it was a death penalty prosecution. And and I had the same thought you did. The difference between you and me and maybe other people that are watching this right now is I ended up with access to hundreds of thousands of documents, photographs, files, a large part of the Brady disclosure, and we can talk about the Brady disclosure and what that is if you want to. When
Absolutely,
I saw that, my initial reaction is, okay, I am going to look into this because something doesn't add up. And for somebody that believes in justice and truth, that was a challenge to me. I looked at this and said, nobody wants to go in. I'm not saying to this day, when we sit here talking right now, I'm not saying I doubt for a moment that Brian.
Thank you, Mama D. Thank you, Dago, for all you do for all of us, for putting up my occasional. You're absolutely fine, Mama. I appreciate you, and thank you for throwing that out there towards our goal today. God bless. I appreciate you very much.
Koberger could plead guilty and lie about it. I'm not doubting.
I want to point something out that I kind of find interesting.
Okay.
So when he said that as soon as Brian pleaded guilty, he lost whatever interest there was in it. That's actually what reignited my interest.
That was a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, because like the way that I was looking at it was okay. They got him. They charged him. They got a crap ton of data on him. So there's probably something we'll find out in court, and we'll go from there. Plea deal comes out. Oh, wow, that's interesting. From everything that I've heard, it then it was at least close and worth rolling the dice. And then the documents came out, and it was like, oh my God.
No, I got you. And yes, Tomboy, the report from Sutton in regards to Xana's blood was amended before the plea hearing, which is an interesting thing that a few of us had questions about. So there's the answer to that. And thank you, Tomboy. And yeah, I got you, Dylan. It makes 100% sense. It does.
I'm not saying this is a wrongful conviction. I'm not saying, actually, right now, I'm not going to say anything. My point is, the more I looked into this case, as you and many people that know about this case, the more I looked into it, the more I realized it was nothing like what we think it was. And that's what I do in this book. I point out the factual evidence that points one way or another, which would have come out at trial. Because there is no trial, we'll never know. Brian Koberger did not allocute, meaning he never told anyone about what happened, means, mechanism, motivation, how all of these things happened. And it is a profoundly compelling and troublesome place we find ourselves right now, if we believe in justice, if we believe in truth and justice, and I do.
Right. And to be, so first of all, it's the credentials that you just kind of went through with your background that makes us so excited about this, because, so far in mainstream media and coverage of it and books by Howard Bloom and whatever, we in the true crime community kind of say they're hit pieces. They're pieces to tell you everything they did it right. This was a psycho killer. He was an incel. He couldn't get laid. So he felt frustration and and it made no sense to us. We're like, it's just another hit piece. And I'll tell you, there were people reluctant to buy your book because they're like, I don't need to read another freaking hit piece. And I've been telling people, I've read the book. This is not a hit piece. You are missing the major opportunity to shift the narrative. This is going to change everything, because this guy is not just Joe Blow. He's worked with law enforcement. He's been in the FBI. He's a journalist, like you say. You've got the credentials finally to say it's not just a fiction writer coming out and writing a book with his opinions about why it happened. You've got access to the files. You've got discovery that we haven't seen, that the public largely hasn't seen. And you talk about it in the book. And I think, to finish your thought, the big thing you said, and I've said this before too, I don't have a dog in the fight. If Koberger was there, then so be it. What I am convinced of, and I think you are as well in this book, is it didn't happen the way they said it did. That's if I were to say anything, your book's like, he may have been involved or not, I don't know, but it didn't happen the way they said it did. And if that means there were multiple perpetrators, or it couldn't have happened the way they said, then somebody guilty might be walking free, and that's not justice. How is it justice for us to just accept an easy answer and let other killers walk free if there's somebody else involved? Would that be fair to say?
Very fair to say. I've said since the beginning, I've said all my life for the most part, justice is the domain of lawyers and courts. And we believe the American justice system is the best in the world, but it doesn't mean it's perfect. People get things wrong, and we can look from Innocence Project we can look at any number of high profile cases. Many people would argue that the OJ case, going back to one of the most famous, had some serious flaws, and they would go both ways. And we could say the same thing about so many of these very well-known and prominent cases. Sometimes they're cold cases, like the John Benet Ramsey case, where they have certain perspectives. Others are wrongful convictions. My point is this, that I believe very strongly in the American justice system. I worked in it. I believe that they're very well-intentioned. I'm not a shill for the defense. I'm not blindly law enforcement. I looked at it and say, I really believe in I believe in the system. I believe in the best things about the system. And I think everybody in this case does. I think Ann Taylor believed that when she defended Brian Kohberger. I think Bill Thompson did that when he prosecuted Brian Kohberger. I believe the police officers, and I'll say this up front, I think for the most part, the Moscow Police Department, the Idaho State Police, and the FBI did a truly remarkable job. I think that if people, after we talk, I think people will have an idea of the extent of this investigation. And it was absolutely extraordinary. It was comprehensive in ways that people have no clue. I mean, I had no idea until I looked into it, but I have the files now about the reports and the photographs and everything. So I'm not saying anybody did anything wrong. What I think happened in this case is, as happens in many of
right there, Daigle,
is that you have an extraordinary.
No, I know.
We got to talk about that. I mean,
people are going to have issues with that. I know that already.
So he believes that he just laid out all of his qualifications. He gave us the background, what he's done in his career, and uses that to establish, why he's like an authority to speak on this and give us his point of view or his position.
Yes,
and does he really believe what he just said? Because he has all this discovery that we don't.
Yeah, I don't think he does. I don't think he does, Eddie. I don't think he believes in effect, what he said in that sense, that way. I don't think he does, because he completely, like I said, I see this as a read between the lines conversation, but it people are going to be like, how, what, where, why, whatever. Okay. What I'm saying is he contradicts what he just said in a sense. He doesn't say, like right there, he just said, I don't think anybody did anything wrong. We all know that that's not the fact, okay? And at the same time, later on down the road, he points, not too far, I don't even think, he points to a fact where he says, this is where something went wrong. Well, what went wrong was not something. It was something, but it was caused by something else, or somebody was what caused the problem to go wrong. We'll just put it that way, okay? So, yeah, I don't think he fully believes that what he just said in every word there, okay? Which is hard to understand.
Do you all believe that he should know this case better than we do? He should be more well-read on this case if he's going to come up and have these discussions and share his thoughts, because which way is it going to be? Like, does he believe that there was nothing wrong with not looking into the other male's DNAs? That was, the blood that was found on the handrail and the bloody fingerprint on the back slider, etc. And what about the hair? None of that was looked into. So he thinks that's all good, or is it that he wasn't aware? I don't know the case that deeply. Sort of.
No, I get I know what you're meaning. So let me point something out real fast here. One of the main things that comes right out of the gate within the prologue of the book, I'm going to tell you, this isn't really a big whammo thing, okay? He writes this here in Chaos Theory. Okay, he brings out what's called the butterfly effect. Most of you have probably seen a movie called The Butterfly Effect, maybe read the book, whatever. It's a very interesting theory per se. And it says the butterfly effect is the sensitive dependence on initial conditions in which a small change in one state of a hold on a minute. Who is that backstage? Oh, is that Tomboy? Okay. I could your name was different. I'm sorry. Okay, so in which a small change in one hang on a minute. Can you hear me, Tomboy?
Yes, I can hear you. I just have to mute because I have loud mouths back here.
Okay, no problem. I just wanted to make sure you can hear me. So, in which a small change in one state of a deterministic nonlinear system can result in large differences in a later state. The term's closely associated with the work of the mathematician and meteorologist Edward Norton Lorenz. He noted the butterfly effect is derived from the example of the details of a tornado, the exact time of formation, the exact path taken, and being influenced by minor perturbations, such as a distinct butterfly flapping its wings several weeks earlier. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys understand that, but that is what this book is based off of, is the butterfly effect, the way he writes it, okay? And he repeatedly throughout the book throws on little things where it says the butterfly wings are flapping immensely and stuff like that. So if you understand just the initial basis of in chaos theory, because that's what this is considered, okay, as a chaotic situation, the butterfly effect is the sensitive dependence on initial conditions in which a small change in one state of a deterministic nonlinear system can result in large differences in a later state. So that is how that's the basis on which this book is written with. So I should have showed you that beforehand. So take that to heart if it helps for anybody to help understand maybe some of how or what he's saying. Oh, I took it down. I'm sorry. Hold on, you guys. But I'm just saying that. So I wanted that to be understood too. I forgot completely about that. If it helps, it may. If not, it may do no good for you. But there is that. And again, welcome, Tomboy. Thank you for joining us as well. All right. Anything else to add before we go any further with it? But I do agree with what Eddie said. It's very hard to understand that what he just said based on what we're doing here with this. Okay. I get it.
Dago, can I answer a question over there real quick?
Of course. That's what you're up here for.
Sausage, he said his concern wasn't really about whose blood it was, but it was more along the lines of how did it get the direction that it got? Because it was shaped a little different.
Was this the question, Tomboy, or was it before this?
Oh, Sausage had a question. She wanted to know what he had said. Because remember the other night when they were doing this, I was stomping, screaming, yelling about the amended filing for Sutton's report on it being Xana's blood when it was actually Kaylee's blood, so she had to amend it. And she wanted to know what he had said, because he finally answered and said, right there. He said that it wasn't so much whose blood it was, but about the location of the blood and the direction of the blood.
Right. And I hope that helped you, Sausage. And was that all there was with it, Tomboy?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. I'm glad you're up here with us. On we go.
Crime committed in a town not used to something like this, and there are all of these conflicting and all of these contradictory forces. There is a media descended from all over the world on this case, and you had Ann Taylor was certified to defend these cases, but that was not her job. I mean, she was a public defender. And Bill Thompson, with an admirable career, but suddenly to get the biggest case in state history, and Judge Hippler, or an extraordinary career, Judge Hippler based on my research, and I don't know, but based on my research, I think he's only had one challenged case in all his years on the bench. I mean, he has an extraordinary record. So I look at this and say, I'm not saying at the outset of this book that anyone or any organization or any one entity that it was flawed in any way. It's the process. Somehow in the process, this got very, very badly off track, and that's what we're going to talk about. And I'll say this: this book.
Now, that statement makes more sense, but at the same time, what needs to be recognized, in my opinion, is how did that happen? How did it get, like he just said, how did that happen? It just didn't do it on its own. There's somebody that is, did Eddie fall out again? There's somebody that's responsible for that. So there he is. He fell out. Sorry, bud. Did I knock you out or did you just fall out?
No, I think when people bounce in or out, then that's what affects, whether.
Oh, okay.
That's can weird. Hear, random people. It's hard to say who, but just happens randomly. So I just.
No, I got you. That's
it.
Odd. Did you have something to add, Moto?
Yeah, I think this statement here is, I think he kind of leads us into believing that the prosecution messed up at this point. It wasn't the police, it was the prosecution. This is where they...
Okay. You're in my head now, because that was my next statement literally coming out of my mouth. So that's what I was going to say. This statement makes more sense. I've said this before. I think his mental target is the prosecution, if not Bill Thompson personally himself. Okay. This is what my feeling is since I saw and heard all this and read what I read. So the process got screwed up somewhere. Well, yeah, it sure did. And I believe that where the process got screwed up was when Bill Thompson stepped in immediately and took charge of this, period. And I do believe, without him saying that, because he can't, in my opinion, is exactly what he's saying. That's how I take it. So thank you for saying that, because I was going to say it right after you said what you said. So 100%, that is what I believe that his whole point with what happened is based on, is Bill Thompson, or the prosecution, without naming one specific person. But he is the boss, remember that, and the number one person in charge of this entire thing. So there's that. So, all right. Good point, bud. And get out of my head, brother. That's all I'm saying, because that was literally coming out of my mouth next. So, all good. We do think alike, a lot of us. So
I don't want to be anywhere near that lightsaber.
Yeah. Come on, man. It's all fun. Anyway. All right, guys. On we go.
In my opinion, this book is unusual in the sense that the spine of this book, 15 chapters, the spine of this book is based on actual documents. I'll say right up front, I spoke with no one. I interviewed no one, because my thinking was the investigation had been done contemporaneous with the crimes. What's the point in going back and talking to someone 3 years after the fact and saying he's pled guilty? I didn't see that as the reason of this book. Other books have done that, books that you mentioned previously. They interview family members, they interview people. This is not a book based on emotion or recollection. This is a book based on the case as it was laid out and as you would see it at trial. And it's very different. It's not, I don't know of many books that have attempted to tell a story based on that.
I fully agree with that, Meanie. 1,001,000%. Huh, absolutely. Yes. Thank you for saying that.
Actual documents.
Yeah, and I think you do have a lengthy discussion in the book with Dr. Turvey, which a lot of people are familiar with him. So when you say you didn't interview anybody, when it's clear you had conversations and you broke down through the evidence with people and it went over it in detail. We're going to get into that. I want to get the elephant out of the room.
I just want to qualify. I'm sorry. Yes, I did. Yeah. I talked to people about it. I did not go back and try to re-interview people 3 years after the fact. That's what I meant.
Yeah. So I want to get the elephant out of the room because people are going to say the true crime community is brutal, right? They're going to say this is another hit piece. Christopher Wickham is a former FBI agent. Now here he comes with the whitewash version the FBI wants you to hear. He's their front man. He's a shill. He's going to come out and tell us, hey, they did it all right. Don't worry, we got it. And maybe give us a little nugget here that makes it think like you gave us something. But in the end, you're going to tell us they got it all right. What do you say to the people who say you're just a once a Fed, always a Fed? You're working for the Feds, and this is the Feds' version of the story.
Well, you've read the book, so you know that's not true.
Right.
But I'll say this. I love law enforcement. That love is the wrong word. I respect and have, over the course of my life, worked in a lot of different cases. Because, look, somebody's going to turn up this thing and they're going to say, I'm that guy in the Waco documentary, Waco American Apocalypse. I was at Waco. I was at Ruby Ridge, Idaho. And now that you can hear the firestorm of.
For those that have no clue what he's talking about, Waco was the Branch Davidian complex that burnt down. David Koresh was the leader. It was a cult setting type thing, so on and so forth. So for anybody who didn't know what that was, you can look up Branch Davidian, Waco, Texas, or David Koresh, and you'll get the answers to that. He's saying he's involved in that as well.
Of people saying, oh, he's this and he's that. And I understand that's the case in the society we live in, but I'll tell you what, I have no social media, really. I think I have some corporate account where, just a placeholder, but I really haven't had any most of my life. And I don't pay attention to those things. I do these things because I believe in them. If I don't believe where I am in life right now, I've done so many different things that if I believe in something, I do it. If I don't believe in it, whatever. In this case, if I have to be the lightning rod in a discussion among people who really haven't seen anything, I guess so be it. I mean, I'm not going to shy from that. I will say, I'll listen to what you have to say. If you read the book and if you come at me if we're talking about something real, I'm happy to discuss it. If you just want to spout off because hatred is easy and that's the way the social media world works, then, knock yourself out. You're not going to bother me.
And I think you're right. If you read the book, this is not a hit piece, and this is not a whitewash. And I want to get into the details now. I think.
Well, it's the opposite of a whitewash. It's the opposite. Yeah. This is the first time anybody's ever.
But real quick, I wanted to, Eddie, are you buying the book? Are you going to read the book?
No.
No. Okay. Do you not want to read it, or do you just not want to buy it? Or are you not interested in it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wouldn't waste my time reading it.
Okay. Sorry, I was just curious.
Seen any of this information. So, correct. I mean, nobody could argue. You could criticize this any way you want.
Yeah.
I suspect no one could read this book and think it's a whitewash. You could hit it from various ways. That's not it.
Yeah, and I agree, and I only say that because right off the bat, right, everybody's got their like, okay, this is going to be, I just wanted to kind of get that out of the way because that's what people are going to say. But I think you're right. When they get done with this interview, when they buy the book, and by the way, when you buy the book, if you don't have a copy in your hand at the time this comes out, you're going to be up all night long. Get some fucking coffee because you're going to be here for a long time. This book is riveting, and it's well written, it's well paced, and it's got bombs. Starting with, let's talk about the publisher came out with an excerpt from your book that already has everybody buzzing. Ethan Chapin has a clump of hair in his fist. And already the titles and thumbnails are what the fuck? Like everybody's like, how the hell did that get undisclosed? Like how does that get just written up as debris? So let's kind of start there with that first bomb you drop within pages of the book. Ethan has a clump of hair, and I would go to say further, it's not Brian Kohberger's hair. What does that mean exactly?
What it means, I think, I started the book with a prologue saying, I think it says something to the effect of, most stories don't start at the end, but here we find ourselves at a case, murder that'll never go to trial, something along those lines. And like, why? Who cares? What's the point? But then I go through Bill Thompson's case. In the prologue, this is the first 15 pages probably.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I say, this is what the prosecution has said at trial. We know what the case is. And Brian Kohberger said, yeah, that's right, I did it, right? And I say, well, wait a minute. There's some things in this that I've seen in the file that don't jive. So I started looking at the various types of evidence. And as you said earlier, this is a 3-pillar prosecution. Most people know that DNA, most people would believe that Brian Kohberger's DNA was found on a knife sheath. Many people would understand that a white car was seen at the scene that was tied to Brian Kohberger. So the white car is a very big part of the case.
Right.
And that the third pillar of the prosecution was cell tower pings, right? Are there other elements? Maybe. Are those the elements Bill Thompson referred to and that most people know? Yes. So I started looking at it and I started going through those pillars individually. Two of them are fairly easy to poke holes in. The white car, I personally don't think takes a lot of discussion, but we'll come back to that. The cell tower pings, I did two things. One, I had access to the cell tower analysis, the team cast, the people on that team, not access in the sense that I talked to them, but access and that I talked to people familiar with the team. And then that left me with the central pillar of this case, which was DNA. So I started looking at the laboratory analysis, all of the reports. Police go, they do a crime scene investigation, they gather evidence. The evidence goes to, in most cases now, to DNA analysis. There were fingerprint analysis, there was other type of analysis. And then it goes to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor decides what to do with that evidence. And it's important that people understand the process. We'll talk about it. For example, you brought up the Fed thing. Murder is not typically a federal crime. The FBI works violations of federal crime. Murder is only FBI jurisdiction under certain circumstances. It has to.
Now, okay, I want to point something out. Just 1 second, I'm going to say this and then go for it. This part coming up, I want you guys to pay real close attention to when he explains this, because this is interesting to me for a couple different reasons, and I'm not going to get into why yet, but I will at one point. So go ahead with what you were going to say.
Well, there's a couple things.
Yes, sir.
Lee is championing this guy. If not this guy, then the book, or both.
Yeah.
He's not objective. He's not unbiased. I mean, he said, this is a conclusion when he says that you're not whitewashing. You know, I've read the book. It's not whitewashing. So, right. I mean, that's an opinion or a conclusion. So there's that. But Lee just asked him a simple question about the hair.
Yeah.
And it wasn't tested. It was tested against Brian Kohberger's hair, but that's it. What's your take on that?
That's
and
it.
We still haven't gotten to the answer.
No, he hasn't explained it yet.
He's doing everything but explaining that.
Well, what he gets, I'm trying to remember how this went.
He's talking fast.
He will explain it. It once he goes and explains this part of it, but he does go into it after the fact, is what I mean. But he doesn't give, it's hard to explain. He does explain it at some point. So give it just a little more time. But he is explaining right now something that was kind of interesting about the case and the way the case was presented. He does talk fast, so that's a fact. But he will at some point. He will definitely explain that. I know it's a little bit slow to get to, but he does. If that's what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's a simple answer.
Right. He wants to explain this part first, I believe, because most people think that this is was filed cut and dry as a murder case. It was not. That's what he's explaining, which I thought was quite interesting. That's why I'm saying, listen to this part real quick, and he does go in and get to the point where he's explaining that part of it. So truly, but it we'll see, if it's acceptable, but that's how he did it. He does talk around certain points on purpose, I believe, as we'll see. I think there's reasons why he does it, but I don't know. But he does, his explanations are kind of drawn out. I do agree, but he says it many times. He wants to be thorough, and he wants to be as descriptive as he can be. So different people do things different ways, I guess. I don't know. Did you have something to add, Moto?
Yeah, so like this part right here where he's explaining that the there's only a few ways the FBI can get involved into a murder case.
Right.
It's just saying, okay, well, it has to be extortion or it has to be this. So did they try to essentially shoehorn this case so it would match, it would bear some sort of crime that they could bring the FBI into a murder case, even though they had to shoehorn it in as an extortion case, or was there an extortion element to the case?
That's my point. When he hits this point here, that's what caught my attention. Really caught my attention. Because I'm with you. Was it shoehorned like you said, or is there that true element involved with this? I have that question now. I truly, honestly do, because that made me start thinking about other things almost immediately. You know what I mean? So that's a good point, as he's about to express when I stopped it there. That's why I said focus on this point he makes, guys, and think about it for a minute. And I think it's either one of two things, like Moto just said. It's either a way for them to connect to it, or there's something with this case that we didn't even know about at this point. That's the problem. So it's how we take it, I guess. We'll see. But it is an interesting aspect. I'll say that much. So anything, Tomboy, to add? I guess not. Okay. On moving forward.
To occur on a government reservation or something like that. The FBI worked this crime from a couple different categories. Actually, the file was titled in Pennsylvania as a 9A matter, which is an extortion case. I'm not sure.
So there's that point right there. It was titled, and I don't understand this either, out of Pennsylvania as an extortion case, which froze me right there when I heard that. Like, what and why? So again, it's a different aspect that none of us have ever heard with this before. So I don't know why. I can't give you any explanation on that whatsoever. None. But Moto brings up a good point. Was that done on purpose to, like he said, to shoehorn it into bringing the FBI in because they have to be invited in for specific reasons? Or is there an extortion aspect to this somewhere, which doesn't make a lot of sense at first, but could it? It's a question for sure. Moving forward.
Sure how it got labeled as that. And there was
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that. The word. Yeah.
We can talk about, I want to talk details. I don't want to talk generalities. I want to talk details, but we got to get there first, right?
Sure.
And the other one, it was worked there as a police cooperation matter. And that comes down to resources. There's nothing saying that the Moscow Police Department weren't some of the finest investigators in the world. They did a hell of a job for what they had, but they don't have the resources, right? It's a town of 26,000 people or something, Moscow.
Yeah.
And they have a certain number of officers with specific responsibilities that do not include quadruple homicide on a Sunday morning, right? So they went to the Idaho State Police, who have a crime lab, who have seasoned investigators, who have evidence response teams. They have more resources. When the investigation exceeded those resources, they went to the FBI, which we all know spends $10 billion a year, I think is their budget. And they have the lab at Quantico, and they have the Critical Incident Response Group where I worked. They have the Behavioral Assessment Unit, Analysis Unit, BAU4, which handled most of this. VICAP, the Violent Criminal Apprehension Program, when I was in the FBI, I helped start that program and have all those reports. So the point of the story is, I went back and said, what do I see in this case that presents not just red flags, but tsunamis of what the hell's going on here? And one of those that I wrote early on is this. We know, steer me, because I really don't know what's in the public eye. I don't know what's on social media. I don't follow the YouTube. I don't really know. I wanted to shield myself because I don't care about other people's opinions. I wanted to show the facts. Then those people can look at these. So to your original question about Ethan Chapin, everyone knows Ethan Chapin was killed on second floor bed in Xana's bedroom on the second floor. Photographs have been released. He died in bed, and there are two major problems with how and where he died. We'll get to both of them. One of those was that he rolled to his right side, and his right hand fell down between the mattress and the wall. So if we assume he was facing the door when the killer entered, he retreated, fell to the right. Retreated is the wrong word. We'll talk about the mechanism. He rolled to his right, and he died, as we know now, facing the wall on his right side. Okay, this is important.
Yes.
When he did that, his right hand fell between the mattress and the wall. When police investigated that scene, there's a photograph of the original state that Nunez saw, Officer Nunez saw in the body cam video, which is public now, right? Everybody's seen that?
I don't know that I have seen that one. And it's funny because I've seen so much body cam footage really, but Nunez coming in and discovering the body, I don't know that I have seen that particular footage.
Well, the very first, this crime, unlike any other crime I've seen in a very long time, is documented from the very moment the police arrived and for an hour later on his body camera footage. I thought that was in the public domain, but we could talk about it.
Yeah,
I think I've seen it. But anyways, he walks in and he sees all of this is on the body cam video, and all of this is documented during the processing of the crime scene. So Ethan rolled to his right, or Ethan was found lying on his right side with his arm against the wall. His hand was down between the wall and the mattress, and they process the body. When they process any body in a murder situation, they typically bag the hands for uncorrupted evidence of some DNA under somebody's fingernails. You might have blood or tissue under your fingernails. So one of the first things you do in processing a crime scene with the victims is to put paper bags and tape them around the victim's hands. Okay. So we have photographs of that entire process. Then there are photographs of removing the body, of moving. Sorry, I don't mean to be callous about this. This is a young man. This is a human being. Ethan's body.
Sure.
And they moved him from the bed, and you can.
Thank you.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Whew. Okay, so Chris thinks he's talking about we've all seen Nunez body cam, right? And Lee doesn't set him straight on, well, we have a redacted. I mean, we haven't seen.
Right. That was something I wanted to actually say at that point, but I wasn't there for it. So yeah.
Right. He still hasn't answered Lee's question about the hair.
That's what he's getting rid. The next thing coming up is about the hair. He's a long-winded person. He likes to explain every aspect of everything in detail, as we're seeing. So
he thinks we've seen like an authentic,
yes, unredacted
version of Nunez body cam.
I believe that because he makes that inference like more than probably 3 or 4 times within this. He doesn't realize what we're seeing is nothing like what he saw. So
Eddie also take into consideration that a lot of these questions were again answered in the live Q&A that followed this.
Yeah, we did a live stream like where we came on and did our Crimes After Dark show, and we all questioned him after the fact. But yeah, she's right. So a lot of this stuff did get answered, but I see what you're saying. Truly.
And lastly, and we've passed this up long ago, but
okay.
Extortion in Pennsylvania. I mean, has any of us seen that in any of the documents?
No. And
as a matter of fact, yes,
I haven't.
It's in one of the documents. That's how they filed it, was under extortion.
Okay.
You know which one it was, Tomboy?
It's one of the ones out of PA. I don't exactly remember. I don't know if it was for. I don't remember. I just know I have seen it in the documents.
I remember hearing about it, like very quickly 3 years plus ago, but it was like I didn't even pay attention. I just remember hearing the word somewhere, whether it was in a document or whatnot, but I never heard it. But it's weird because it's never played through the rest of the case anywhere. I'll say that much. Like we don't see it in any other documents, any other conversations, anything ever talked about within any of the hearings. So that's what I'm not truly understanding with this part of it. And it made me wonder if it was done like for what Moto said. Was it a shoehorn effort? Or, excuse me, or is there some aspect of extortion involved in this? Because it's filed under that in Pennsylvania, which was the first filing because that's where Brian was arrested at. So
it was yeah.
Okay, so Lucy says, yeah, the extortion is listed in the agent balance additional AT&T call data records that extended the timing advance for Maddie Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Showalter going back to June 23rd of 22. Thank you, Lucy. I didn't even realize that.
Thanks, Daigle.
Yeah, I'm writing this down too, just for future reference, so I can kind of look at that. Thank you, Lucy.
The only
And
extortion in this case was them extorting Brian Koberger to plead guilty.
Lucy, wasn't the
Good point.
also listed under extortion for the search warrant for the house, for his parents' house in PA?
And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, how the hell does extortion fit this? Now, could this have been like, no, I don't even know. So I think this is answering because balance having access to bulk collection databases depends on the crime being investigated. Okay. Yeah, I know. He said he didn't follow YouTube, but he loves it. I think he only follows like one or two specific channels. He doesn't follow the whole platform, is what he was trying to say there, because he said that again to us backstage before. Which is a good point and a good catch. I get it. I have a high curiosity about this extortion thing now, so I'm gonna have to look back at that. If you get it, if you're in the documents, Lucy, by some weird chance, send that one to me, please, specifically, because it'll take me forever to go digging for it. Only if I don't want you to go do it on purpose, okay? You get some free time or whatever, and you decide to get in there. That's all. All right. Moto or Tomboy or anybody else, anything else to add to this before we go forward? I'm not going to say moving forward, Jesse.
No, you're good. Keep going.
I will say on we go.
You can see documented in police photographs that his arm is lying down against the frame of the bed. So the mattress, this is all important. The mattress is on a frame. The frame is against the wall, and it's a white wooden frame. So anything on that frame stands out. His hand is clenched kind of like this. It's a fist that has relaxed.
Right.
My interpretation would be it's not an open hand. It's not. He's at autopsy. His hand is like this, and this will be very, very important. So you can see a photograph of his hand where it has fallen down between the wall and the mattress, and it is resting on the white wooden bed frame. You with me?
Yes.
And there are slats that go across. So you can see specifically his hand was found on a specific slat, cross slat, against the long arm of the bed frame. So you can tell with very, very specifically where his hand was, the shape of his hand, and that there was a large pool of dried blood beneath his hand. Okay. Yeah. Most people would say, okay, he was found that way. So I started looking deeper, and I started to realize that when they took the body away, you could still see the bed frame. And I zoomed in on the photograph, and I thought to myself, that's hair. There is a large pool, large meaning, I'm going to say 4 to 5 inch pool of blood that is dried. Within that is a fairly significant clump of human hair. And that, people will say, well, you're not a forensic psychologist or a forensic pathologist. And I would say, you're right, but I do have the lab reports. It says it was, what it was. Yeah. The hair, I would estimate the hair is somewhere between 6 and 8 inches in length. And it is sort of a dark blonde. It is not, it is not Koberger's hair. And I say that not as a generalization, but based on the laboratory reports. So here's where it gets weird. They take the body, they bag the hands, they take it, they process it. And I have in my possession, I haven't sent it to you or anybody else, a picture of his hand at autopsy, which is the same hand and the same shape. And it has a clump of human hair that matches the hair seen in the photograph in his hand. And it was tested for type and for color, but not for DNA. Okay. So, but it gets more compelling than that. So many people now know about a criminologist named Brent Turvey, Dr. Brent Turvey. He was hired by the defense. His report has been made public where he was brought in to analyze things. And I interviewed him for this book. And he provided, some pretty extraordinary information within the constraints of his employment agreement. He could talk about some things and not about others. But he did have a photograph of he was hired much later in the process. So this would have been probably 2.5 years after the crime, just before trial, not long before trial. He went up to Moscow, Idaho, went to the police department and was given access under disclosure rules, Brady disclosure rules, to look at the evidence. And he found the bed frame in the building that was actually, I believe it was built just for this, house this evidence. Yeah. And the bed frame was in there, and he was in there with Detective Payne, who everybody knows was the lead investigator for the Moscow Police Department. And they were going through all the evidence. Now, 2.5 years after the fact, going to trial with all the reports and everything done. And he said, essentially, he essentially said, well, what's this? They took the cover off, and it was the bed frame. And he looks at the bed frame, and he looks down at that slat, and he sees the slat where where you can match precisely where Ethan's hand was found on the slat, and there's the same pool of dried blood, and all the hair in the photographs of the crime scene is still there. It was never taken as evidence. It was never taken and or processed as evidence. So police did, in fact, and we have photographs. This is I'm mentioning this because we have the photographs. The entire continuum from when they found the body, matching it to a place on the bed frame, the hair in the autopsy, the analysis by the laboratory of that human hair, and now going back to the evidence 2.5 years after the fact, finding the bed frame, looking at the bed frame, finding the blood stain as depicted in crime
Tomboy, check the private chat, please, if you don't mind, dear.
scene photographs, and the human hair is, well, I can't say that's human hair because it's never been tested, right? And found it there. Went back to Ann Taylor and said, holy whatever. And then very, very shortly after that, he pled guilty. So it was never tested by anyone. It was never been tested by by either side of the case.
It's mind-blowing on multiple levels. One, how that could not be discovered until weeks before the plea deal. How, when it did get discovered, you still go forward with the plea deal. This seems like exculpatory information all day long and every day. I'm gonna ask the really difficult question. I feel like you can't tell me that when the prosecution's case is going to be built on DNA evidence placing Kohberger at the scene, that if there's anything in there that they think could end up being Kohberger's, they're going to test everything. It's hard for me to believe they didn't test DNA on the hair, decided it wasn't Kohberger's, and then decided to rule it as not relevant because it didn't fit the narrative. It's a multi-part problem because, again, Talk me out of this. Ethan didn't go have a fight, rip somebody's hair out, and then go to sleep with his hair in his hand, and then got killed, and it was completely irrelevant.
Okay, so stop there for a minute.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if you were telling me to stop. If I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
No.
So what I'm going to say about this first is that we did see this. Okay, we have seen this. I did show this. I'm trying to get the picture again to show you exactly what they're talking about. Thank you, Tomboy. And Fizzy's looking too. Because it's for me to dig for these takes forever, and I don't want to do that to you guys. So they're looking right now for us, so I can show you exactly where this was. The claim is that the hair that was found, there was a claim floating around that Ethan had a squirrel in his hand, which is ridiculous. It's not a squirrel. It was hair. Like he says, he was holding his hand like this. There was a clump of hair in his hand. His hand was resting on the bed frame, which I'm going to show you at one point. And there's hair shown. It's laying on the floor in a pretty thick pool of blood. The claim is that it's 6 to 8 inches in length and it's dark blonde colored. There it is. And he has seen, from our understanding, what we see, he sees double or triple what we see because none of the stuff he sees is redacted. Okay, according to what he said. So that's why I want you to see the photograph. I'm trying to give you a visual on what he's talking about at the same time. Which was interesting. I don't want anybody to automatically think that it's automatically Dylan's or automatically Bethany's or automatically male, automatically female. We don't know, unfortunately. But
Well, it's one of the killers. We'll never know.
that which is what my thought is, yeah. And I did have a name that came to mind automatically. Automatic. As soon as they said it, it was an instantaneous flash in my mind. I can't let it go. And I'll tell you, I don't mind telling you who I think that belonged to, possibly. And that is Janelle Braun. The first name that came to mind immediately, folks. Immediately. Am I wrong? I very well could be. I've had her on my mind about this case since Pav put her into my mind. Honest and truly, I'll just be honest with you guys.
Sorry, what name was that, Dago?
Janelle Braun. I know there's people that are going to go, you're fucking crazy, Dago. No. Go for it. I still love you. Just tell you guys that right now. I do. But it came to my mind immediately. First and foremost, it could absolutely be wrong. But it was like
Who was
that.
Janelle? Who was Janelle?
Janelle Braun was a friend of Molly's and was kind of in the mix of Pavarotti's group of people. I'll just put it that way.
Oh, I know who you're talking about now.
Remember the one in the white truck that they
The white-
let?
yeah.
She took pain on a chase, and well, he escorted her. In my opinion, it wasn't a chase, but I'll just say that she's involved in that group of people that Pav has put out to us. So I'll just be honest with you; it makes perfect sense to me. And the match of it, the color of her hair, the last I saw it was dark blonde. It's weird. So I think that's why it clicked automatically. So it's just a thought. And yes, I've always thought, folks, I'll be truly and honest, absolutely honest with you. There's no reason to believe a woman could not have been involved in the murders in this. No reason whatsoever. Period. So, hold on a minute here. What's up, Mark? Good to see you. Linda Robinson, welcome. Guts and Black Pouty, I love your name. Welcome. Vivian, good to see you, man. Chiefs, good to see you. Mark is in the house again. Make sure we drop Mark's link in here, guys. Mark does great work, and we appreciate Mark. So please drop his link, and they will let me know if and when they find this photograph. There's a lot, okay, to go through. So that's why I shouldn't even think about it, or I would have done it earlier. And if we have to go back, I will go back and show you. Eddie, did you go ahead, bud? I know you said thank you. So what did you want to add to this, sir?
Well, I noticed that he still hasn't answered the question. And to Lee's credit, Lee is breaking it down into simple terms now. He's re-asking the question, and we'll see what happens next.
Why? What's wrong, Mama Five? And one thing I will tell you while we're waiting on that, possibly, one thing that did test this against, and Eddie even claimed it, was they tested this hair patch against Brian's. No. Okay, and this is interesting. This is found in a victim's hand. Some idiot came in here to Lee's and said something about last night, I think it was, and said, "Oh, you moron, don't you realize that where his hand is, it's more than likely Murphy's hair." What? Okay, I hate when people do this kind of shit. No, it's not, so anybody doesn't get confused. It is not dog hair, it's human hair. It was tested for color, texture, I believe it is, or whatever type it was, which is human, dark blonde, and 6 to 8 inches long. It's not animal hair by any means whatsoever. And it wouldn't even match color-wise. And that type of a dog does not shed enough where it would be a clump of hair in his hand like that. That's so ridiculous. So, and so that there's that. But anyway, I will. Anything else to add, Moto, before we push forward? No. Yes.
No, not really.
Okay. And I will stop as soon as we find this photograph and go back and show you. But I will go ahead and go forward now. Anything else, Eddie? I'm sorry, but I should have thought of that.
No, thanks for asking.
Yeah, and Tomboy, I know what you're doing, but do you have anything verbally to add to this at all? Exactly, Sluther. That means no, because she'd answered nothing. No, okay.
Well, no, because I had to pull back up the correct tab. I got like 9 other tabs going.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Take your time. No worries.
It's totally relevant. It suggests he ripped hair off of his attacker, and that attacker wasn't Brian Koberger. Does it not? I mean, what?
Well, okay. First of all, I'll say this: you chose to pick this as the first thing we discussed, right? But this is literally a paragraph in the book. I mean, this is maybe a page, a 450-page book. I mean, this is one of, but certainly not the most compelling elements of this case, not even remotely. So it just happens to be the first one that you brought up. And I'll say this. I could do certain things in a book. I mean, I don't want to exaggerate, but I would say at least 200,000. I would say probably at least 200,000 exhibits, meaning documents, photographs, videos, databases, data sheets. I have one file that is 8,247 pages long. Now, you sit down and read one file that's 8,247 pages, and it gives you an idea of two things. One, the extraordinary extent that law enforcement went to in doing this investigation, and it was extraordinary, and the extraordinary task that Ann Taylor and the defense team had going through all this information. I mean, I spent 6 months of 12-hour days trying to find out what all these things and how they made sense. So it's a big gig, right? So that's a defense of the prosecution, a defense of the defense. It looks at both sides of these things. But coming back to the hair, I'll say this, that I try to be specific as possible because I can say things in this book, and I would say that we're going to talk about so many things, Lee. The purpose in doing a book is it's like a giant jigsaw puzzle of 200,000 pieces. And you've got to say, okay, here are all the pieces, we're going to put them together. You and I can talk about pieces and build clusters, but the reason I did this book was to put them together in some kind of a reasonably pulled together narrative that paints a picture so your viewers, so the people that are interested in justice in this case, can go back and look and say, okay, let me look at this, let me look at that. This encourages inquiry. This encourages the community to get involved in this project because people will find things that I didn't. They'll say, oh, you idiot, Wickham, you got this wrong. But, oh, my God, this is extraordinary because you got this right. OK, you can't do all those things. However, it is the tip of the iceberg. You in the podcast community, the amateur sleuths, the true crime people have extraordinary capabilities. And we know that. I mean, we know some of the people involved in this now are going to take it new places. But my point is, and I don't have any photographs. I don't have any video. I don't have any sound clips. I don't have any of those things in the book because of the nature of the medium. Right. But we're going there. Somebody's going to get this, and somebody's going to talk about it, and it's just going to be a holy shit after another, if you ask me. So my point in this long spiel is this: I am going to try to be as specific as I humanly can be.
Now that statement right there is why. Well, not the only reason why, but one of the main reasons why I took this as you're trying to give us a resource to use to continue doing what we're doing, looking for, trying to break this down in some aspect per se. That's why one of the reasons why I believe that at this point. Okay. And Fizzy, thank you. Tomboy, I don't think you need to worry at this point. All right, so I'm going to throw up a trigger warning first and foremost and show you exactly what he's talking about. One quick second.
Trigger warning. This video includes sensitive and violent content that may not be suitable for all viewers. This video is for 18 plus only. Trigger warning.
Okay.
Dago, before we begin, I wanted to lead with this, but I kind of kept it to myself, but now I want to share it.
Do your thing.
And I've always said this. I said, we have to be careful what we use as facts in this case. For so long, we've had to endure using someone said as facts, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid, and I haven't read the book, so hopefully it doesn't turn out this way, but I can sense what's about to happen. People are lazy. We have the source for the facts in the case. We have the case file. We have the forensic results. We have ISP, and
Somewhat, yeah.
it's out there. So people, I'm afraid, are going to read this book and use that as their source of facts. And there's a lot of reverbs I'm hearing myself and someone else's speaker or something.
Hold on 1 minute. Nope, that's muted. That's me. Is it me?
Okay. He still hasn't answered, and on top of all that, he still hasn't answered the question, which I find interesting. But
What, the hair question?
yeah,
That's what he explained about Ethan having the hair in his hand laying on the bed rail. That's what he explained it as. That was the explanation to the question. Was there more to it?
I don't think so. I think
expected?
Lee's first question, correct me if I'm wrong, but it wasn't looked into. What's your take on that? I mean, you got a deceased with hair in his hand.
That part of the
his
question.
last
Okay.
dying action was to gather up, evidence and a clue for the investigators, and it was never looked into. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, that part he hasn't approached. Like I said, he talks very fast, and I think he's jumping in his head all over the place. So that part, yeah, no, there was no. I believe that he's pointing out that there's something wrong with that. There's an issue, but he doesn't say it right here. I think down the road he might speak on it again, but the answer is that's what it was. But I see what you're saying. He didn't go directly to what Lee said as far as what's your take on this? Why did this happen? So on and so forth. Why do you think this happened? He doesn't speak on that. And I don't know if it's because he can't speak on that or he's just
so far,
pointing
he's
it out
been playing both sides of the fence.
In a sense, yeah, a lot of people see it that way. And I get it. I understand fully why. So, absolutely. Makes perfect sense, sir. All right, real quick here. I'm going to pull this over here. Okay, we've seen this when I went through all these photographs once before, okay? This is where he's pointing this out. Right here. And right here. This is where he believed that Ethan's hand was. Now, this bed was pulled away from the wall by MPD. It was initially right against the wall. And Ethan was laying, his head was probably at right about there. And his hand fell right there and there. Okay? So this is where the hair was found partially in Ethan's hand. The rest of it was on the floor and there. Just so for anybody that never saw this, that's what this is. For those of you that did see it, this is what he's proclaiming. This is where this came from. And he saw what we don't see ever. He saw the photograph of Ethan holding the hair in his hand. So it is a pretty good sized clump of hair between that and whatever was left in Ethan's hand. And when he says that and Tomboy, you remember, you probably correct me, that didn't he say that even the picture he saw of during where they took him for the autopsy, that it was still in his hand? I believe he said something like that, and he may still say it, but anyway, again, trigger warning on that. I just wanted you to see that what he's speaking of is right there.
Daigle, I'm going to hop out, but before I do, I just want to say, again, if someone deliberately lies to you one time, doesn't that undermine everything else that it is that they're trying to communicate with you?
If it's deliberate?
And I can already tell that there is deception here. There is lying. It is, if nothing else, it is provable with the 430 vehicle. Science proves that he's wrong.
In what fashion?
So that said, whatever he has in this book is it's a complete waste of time. Because what is the purpose of the book other than we're desperate for facts, right? So why would we? What's the purpose of reading the book other than try to discern more information about this case? Because that's what we're doing. We're trying to find the truth. But this is misleading.
Well, he gives more facts.
That's all I have to say on that. But thanks for having me up as always.
You can't hear me, can you? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You can't hear me.
I don't think he can hear you.
He can't.
I think he dropped down.
He's still up here, but he couldn't hear me. So, okay. Thank you, Eddie. Sorry you couldn't hear me, but I don't know why that happens. But anyway, I will say that yeah, he said he couldn't hear me. Okay. I respectfully, it's some degree disagree with you on that point, because I think there is more. Again, the proclamation that there is documents that he has that has things that were never seen is what I would call factual information, in my opinion, that we don't know yet. Like, I never knew, none of us knew that was found, that there was human hair found in Ethan's hand. I think that's a good point. And again, I know it's hard sometimes people to take his word on different things and that, but one thing that needs to be remembered, in my opinion at least, okay, was he's an author. He has ties with the FBI and a reputation per se thus far that could be completely discredited if he's not providing something of truth. And I can't imagine somebody that has his background, that is trying to be an author, to write books, or is an author, would do that on purpose, is all I'm saying. So I'm not going to say that I'm 100% in the bag with everything he says, but I do believe that when he he gets more in depth into other things that do make perfect sense, and are very interesting points. So again, my opinion, and again, me and Eddie can have differing opinions, and it doesn't mean I think any different of Eddie. So, anything to add, Moto or Tomboy? Oh wait, what did I do here?
Yeah, this guy, this author is not going to ruin a distinguished career in the FBI just because
right.
he wants to lie about a book. No, there's no way.
I agree. That's kind of what I was saying, maybe in too many words, but that's exactly what I believe too. So,
yeah, I don't think he's going to risk his career or his ties with the FBI. And you know what, right? This is his very first interview. This is the very first time he's came out about his new book.
Right.
So I think he's playing a political game. I think he's playing a game. I think he's trying to reveal the truth, but not give his opinion, just like he says.
He can't, and that, like I said, there's certain things he can't do, certain things he can do, which is how my whole take on this is to read between the lines. He's not going to give us the exact point. He's not going to send us and say, hey, Joe Blow is who you need to look at and talk to. But he'll get us in that neighborhood, per se, to look at that person.
He's giving us facts, and we're playing Pictionary.
Basically, yeah.
He's giving us facts that point us in a direction to look at deeper. And if he's saying we don't have access to them, he's not saying he won't release them.
No, that's something I think that's coming down the road.
I believe it might be coming down the road too, and especially because he says it several times.
Yes, it will be released at some point. So
I think they're going to screw him, though. Honestly, I think after he releases this book, they're going to start redacting heavier, and I think they're gonna start fighting back, and they're going to try to turn this around on him and try to make him look like an idiot. So it could blow up.
Oh, of course they're going to. They already tried to. They already went at him on Reddit. And if you notice, there's nobody that has said anything on mainstream yet. They're going to try. You mentioned you might have a conversation. Yeah, he's going to be in. He's already knows, and he's already stated he'd be interested in it. When I would talk to him over there, I'm trying to give everybody a week or two to read the book, and then I'm going to bring
Remember,
him on.
Dago, remember, he also said he was not aware that we were getting everything so unredacted.
They're so redacted. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so
That's a
redacted.
fact. He did say that. So, and that's a big thing. He didn't realize, because he doesn't know how the YouTube thing works and what they released or didn't, how redacted everything was that we were getting. So a lot of things that were being talked about were like, no, what are you talking about? We didn't see or hear that, or we don't know that, and he's like, oh, well, okay. Like when it's said that it's been released to the public, sure. A very highly redacted version of it has, yes. So, but yeah, to answer that question, I will be having Chris join us, but I want to give everybody a week or two to read through the book and get it solid. That way, when we do go and ask him some questions, you'll have a little more insight into it. He will be joining Lana this Sunday, which I'm excited to watch that as well. I can't wait for that one. Speaking of, what the hell? What do you like? That's hilarious. I just saw that.
Ask and you shall receive.
Exactly. Thank you, dear. I love you too, dear. Thank you so much for that.
Lana, can't you come up here just once? Just one time.
Do what?
Never mind.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said, Lana, just come up here just one time. Just one time.
She has come up here before.
Not when I'm up here.
Maybe not when you're up here, but she has. But thank you, Lana. Love you. Appreciate that. Of course you can. You can come on anytime you want. You know that. And we will be here tomorrow. So absolutely you can come on tomorrow. Remember, she said that, you guys.
I will be here.
I'm too intimidated to be up here while she's here.
Yeah. Thank you, darling. Appreciate you. I'm looking forward to Sunday's show too. But yeah, you guys.
Lana knows I love her. Come on now. It's not fangirling. She knows I love her.
She said she'll talk to you tomorrow. She's at dinner now, but she wants to support me. So thank you, and I love you, dear. So we will see her tomorrow. But yeah, that's how I look at this, you guys. And I like I said, I respect how everybody else sees this. If it's differing than my opinion or Tomboy's or anybody's, I respect that. That's good. Everybody should have different looks on different things. Truly. So there you go. Can you see that on screen, Tomboy? Yeah, you can. Okay.
Yeah, I saw it. I responded.
All right. So on we go. What time are we at? 3:30. Yeah, we'll go a little bit longer. I don't want to drag you guys in here too long, but we will pick up more on this tomorrow. But I want to roll through some more. Hold on. I don't know why this keeps jumping down. 1 minute.
He does go through the book, and some of the the documents that are redacted.
Yeah. Did somebody say something?
Yeah.
Oh, Jen. Okay. He was also writing the book. Some things were redacted now. They aren't, but there is access to info that we don't know. He at least acknowledges those in this community who go unnoticed, who want the truth. Very good point, Jen, and thank you for saying that.
But he does acknowledge that he does say things that we only got as redacted, but in the book they're not redacted.
Exactly. There's a lot of stuff in this book. If you look through and read it, as I've told you, all the names, for instance, Tomboy can verify this because she was talking to me as I was figuring out these names and stuff. All the names that we got in documents and interviews and stuff, everything that was redacted, I have first and last names now. They're not redacted at all in this book. And there was, what did I tell you, Tomboy? 35, 40 different new names that are absolutely, completely unredacted. First and last names. None of that was given to us in the documents. He got that stuff unredacted in the documents, is what we're saying. So,
he knew that some things were redacted. Like, he didn't realize, like, the video that Jules got, he didn't realize that it was muted.
You're right. Yeah, he said he watched that whole thing and knew it and said, "What do you mean it was muted?" His wasn't. And it's funny because Ann's was even muted. Okay? So, what does that say? That's quite interesting to me. Erica was never brought up, Holly. He said he has no idea who Erica is. That's the only thing he said on it.
Yeah, with the message texting Ethan telling him he's been cheated on by Erica, or the message was from Erica.
Right.
He's being cheated on.
That whole thing about the doors on the building, I think that was I think he got confused about the apartments there, about the not having the door thing. He was never there. Okay. And I don't think that he watched, or was it like, I think he had himself backed up, because the one place that I thought he was talking about.
I thought he was talking about the Browns.
In the middle, or maybe the Brown. Is that the one that's on the outset down where Showalter lived, right? At the end on the corner?
Yeah, that faces Taylor. Yes.
Okay. That's where I thought he was talking about. And I think he got himself turned around and got screwed up with where he was actually pointing to. Because that side of the building, there are doors. They did the canvassing video there and they knocked the doors there. So that's what I was trying to say, is wherever Showalter lives is where I think he thought he was talking about. Because there's no doors on the backside of that for you to be able to see any of that stuff. So I don't know. I don't think he did it on purpose, though. I don't think he was purposely trying to lie about something. I think that he got himself confused with it. That's my opinion, but just saying. And maybe when he does join me, I'm gonna try to clarify that statement. Truly. So onward.
So it comes back to what you said. I'm not alleging that Ethan Chapin pulled hair out of his assailant's head and died with it in his fist. I am going to say that many reasonable people would look at that and say, why do we not know? I'm not saying he pulled the hair from somebody's head. I'm saying it is very compelling that we see the visual evidence that happened, and we would want to know where this hair came from and why we don't know. So that is, and again, this is one page of 440 pages in this book, among hundreds of thousands of things that will be that are part of a larger file. Does that make sense? I'm trying to be as specific as possible.
No, you're right, and I think you were very careful in the book not to even remotely speculate about who could have done it or whatever.
I have no theories. I have no theories. I speculate about nothing, and I do my best not to draw conclusions. Now, do I say things that other people would say that's outrageous? How could this be? I understand that, but I don't say it myself. I show a document. I do feature documents and various primary source documents. I do cite those, but I try not to have theories. And I know there are so many theories in this thing. So I will answer your questions. But when it comes to things like the hair in Ethan's hand, I don't know how it got to his hand. I don't know how it got on the bed. I don't know anything. But I can tell you this by looking at the photographs and by looking at the laboratory reports. No one else knows either.
And fair. I think you said it before. It's maybe the true crime community, the amateur detectives that are getting shamed. We're the ones that are going to. It's a line of inquiry we have that we didn't have before, and so maybe you just say, here it is. Here it is. Go. You give me the answer.
That's what I do.
How the hell did the hair get there? You give me the answer, right?
I say here it is. And look, I try to be fair to investigators who I have great respect for. I'll say it again. I'll say it 1,000 times. I think investigators did an extraordinary job in this case. Extraordinary job. And I think Ann Taylor probably did a good job with the defense, assuming that Brian Koberger not assuming, he did. He pled guilty, right? But I look at this and say, what we'll get to eventually in this conversation, people are going to say, well, then what went wrong? And what went wrong, in my opinion, is that confirmation, and I talk about this in the book, that once you have a suspect in a law enforcement investigation, human nature dictates that you press that as the one and only, eventually the one and only scenario. And then it becomes, evidence becomes confirmation, confirmation becomes bias, bias ends up being a problem. And that's why these things go sideways. So I'll say, I'm not alleging anybody did anything wrong. I'm saying out loud, I have seen where this thing may have gotten extremely sideways. And I think that's where we're going to end up.
Okay. I mean, I know that probably, we didn't necessarily start where, you were hoping we would start, or, but again, when the publisher released the page that had the hair and everybody's like, how the fuck, like
Thank you for joining us, Moto. I'll talk to you soon, brother. Always appreciate you. And I hope you have a great rest of your night, brother.
They're already chomping at the bit. Walk us through the other thing. And I can't remember if it was in the release, if they put this in the release. Hair in Maddie and Kaylee's bed as well. What appears to be hair ripped out and contains roots of the hair as well. Of a hair color that doesn't match either of the victims. I don't think people have heard that as well. And again, without telling us what that means, it's a what the fuck moment. Like how do you explain that?
Again, I've got to go back to the facts of this thing. And first of all, the publisher did not release any pages of this book whatsoever. The publisher, in terms of, a book is like anything else. You buy a car, you go to watch a movie, whatever else, they put whatever money and effort goes in, they try to sell the book, right? So there's a site, and I think this came for, what's it called, Books for Looks or something like that. There's a site which is largely a marketing thing where the publisher of any book, like HarperCollins probably put out 15 or 20,000 books last year, and you make a book, you get to sell it. So they send it to a site where you or media can look at it and get an idea of what it's about. So if you are Amazon, if you are Barnes & Noble, if you are Walmart, if you are any of these sites, Books A Million or whatever the case is, you can go and say, what's this book? And you could look and get a synopsis. So I believe that's where people, like, I didn't even know this until you told me this morning, right? I didn't even know this was out there. But the publisher did not release any part of this book, the prologue or the first chapter or anything else. It just, somebody found that site. And somebody, apparently, from what you say, somebody put it online. So
I'll tell you where it is. Amazon.com is the one that put read a sample of this link to it. And so I think Amazon has the
they must
right
have got it from that.
Yeah. So Amazon is the one that kind of put that out there. So
so all I did was in the prologue, all my books have prologues. I just like that format. In the prologue, all I did was go through the Judge Hippler's change of plea hearing. And I looked at the change of plea hearing, and I used that to summarize where we are. No trial. He's pleaded guilty to the murders. We accept all these things. But Bill Thompson stood up in court and said, Judge Hippler said, the state would have had to have proved beyond a reasonable doubt that this happened at this time to these people, right? That's the way it goes. Bill Thompson stood up and he said, as you just summarized, if it had gone to trial, this would have been the presentation of our case. And he hung it on three things: DNA on the knife sheath, the white car, and the cell tower pings. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Never was a trial. And there are no objections. So many people, I hate to get into the weeds on this, but in many states, in many crimes, a defendant can take an Alford plea, nolo contendere, basically saying, I'm not pleading guilty, but I accept that the facts presented in the case would warrant guilt, right? It's the Alford plea. A lot of people know about this.
And Idaho
that was not an option for him in this case. It was not an option for him. So he and Ann Taylor and his team could not stand up in court when Bill Thompson read his summary, his narrative. He could not stand up and object to anything. But I looked at it and I thought to myself, wait a minute. I don't see this, or I don't see that. Therefore, let's look deeper. And let's us look deeper, meaning the reader and meeting you and me and people that are going to watch this right now. That's where it goes. So in that prologue, and I do mention the foundation of doubt that I go back into during the course of the book, and the hair was one of those things.
And it's a huge one. And again, I understand that you don't want to.
It's definitely not the biggest one. It's not even close to the biggest one.
What do you think is if you were to say, what is the biggest misconception the public has that your book revealed as the biggest thing that the public doesn't realize it's not what they thought it was?
Well, I don't know what the public would think. Like I say, I live a very secluded life, I suppose, as a writer. I like writing books. I don't like paying attention to what's going on online. But I'll say the thing that shocked me the most is a Frank's hearing transcript from the very end of the case before it went to trial, where Ann Taylor asks Brett Payne in this hearing if the FBI ever told him that Brian Koberger's DNA was found on the knife sheath. And he said, and you can read it, he said no.
Right.
And she said, what? And he said, she didn't exactly say what, but
yeah,
again, I'm trying to be very accurate. You can read it, right?
Yes.
But she said, what did they tell you? And he, the lead investigator in this case, among many other things, is a 175-page document, this transcript, right? But among other things, he said the FBI told him that the DNA evidence found on the knife sheath, and I think I am quoting here, should be considered nothing more than a tip.
Right.
Now, how do we get from a few human cells found on a knife sheath, and it goes downhill from, the chain of custody form and the things that I'm going to start mentioning?
Yes.
This is a major problem that would have arisen in the prosecution of this case if it had gone to trial. What people think they know about the knife sheath, its placement, the chain of custody, and the laboratory analysis, this lab in Texas, the way it got the investigative genetic genealogy, STR SNPs versus STR DNA analysis, what those things do. The DNA aspect of this thing is extraordinarily complex, but it boils down to this. The lead detective in this case says the FBI never said that Brian Koberger's DNA was on the knife sheath, and they should treat that evidence as nothing more than a tip. And I'm as specific as I can be, so when people read this, they will not say I'm exaggerating. When I saw that, because I would consider the DNA, Brian Koberger's DNA being found on the knife sheath, commonly accepted truth about this case. When I started looking deeper based on that is what I would call the biggest revelation that I had in looking into this.
And I'm glad you mentioned it, because I've tried to point that out to people on my show. I said, they're using very clever words. They never said they had his DNA. And in fact,
most people believe that.
Right. And it drives me nuts because the public thinks he was convicted because he.
So, okay, I'm going to play that little clip back of what he just said. And I want everybody to tell me what you think that he's saying with that.
On the knife sheath, and they should treat that evidence as nothing more than a tip. And I'm as specific as I can be, so when people read this, they will not say I'm exaggerating. When I saw that, because I would consider the DNA, Brian Koberger's DNA being found on the knife sheath, commonly accepted truth about this case. When I started looking deeper based on that is what I would call the biggest revelation that I had in looking into this.
And I'm glad you mentioned it, because I've tried to point that out to people on my show. I said, they're using very clever words. They never said they had his DNA. And in fact,
most people believe that.
Right.
Most people believe that, which he's saying there, exactly what Eddie's saying, because it wasn't his DNA on the knife sheath. My belief is that's what he's clarifying with that people believe it's Brian's. It's not. It never was. Okay? It's not Brian's DNA. This is something that it took me a while to figure this out in my own mind, but it's not. And I said before, you guys, at one point I said, I don't believe it's Brian's DNA. And then at some point I said, it's not Brian's DNA. I don't believe it is. It is not. Once again, and he just said it himself. By saying most people believe that, it's not. That's real important, folks. Real important.
And it drives me nuts because the public thinks he was convicted because he had no choice. They had his DNA at the scene. And I said, they never were going to, I believe it. They were never going to present that DNA evidence at trial because it wouldn't stand up. They knew they knew it was horrible.
And at that point, guys, it's way later than I thought it was. I lost track of time. So I'm going to say that's it for tonight. Yeah, they tested Brian. Good point, Tomboy. Thank you. After they got his fathers from the trash. this is such fuckery right there. All of that right there in itself is so bad. So we will pick this up right here tomorrow where we left off and go on through with it. It gets into way more. There's a lot more that we get into about the living room area and blood and DNA that was hidden and never shown from us, so on and so forth. So I hope you guys are here for it because I want to keep going with this. And I want your feelings and opinions on this. And Tomboy, you're amazing. Thank you for joining us and helping me. As always, I appreciate you. Moto, thank you for being up here.
Try.
What, hon?
I try.
You do great. Fizzy, thank you for helping and finding the photograph. And Eddie, thank you for joining us and your input as well, brother. I appreciate you always. So I hope you guys have a
Remember, people, it's always just a tip.
You guys have a great night. I love you, Tomboy. Have a great one, folks. Don't forget to love yourselves, love each other, and please don't change a thing. You guys are truly the beautiful people, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
The coffee's cold, the final stain. We